German, sit down.
Badu badu. Badu badu.
King of the mic.
Badu badu. Ba. Badu badu. Oh yeah. Badu badu. Badu. Ba. Badu badu. Badu. Ba. Ba. Badu badu. Ba. Badu. Badu badu. Badu. Ba. Akasembayo. Badu badu. Badu. Ba. Ba.
It's only there are only two people getting the money, so you'll come for it after the session.
Stamil. Stamil aliwo. Stamil. Jangu yanirize facilitator addako. ASAP twagambye mu abalidinga leero si kyekyo.
All right. I think it's time for the next session. So I think it's time for the next session. I want you all to join me and welcome our next facilitator. We're gonna do an abaco for Helen. So all of you join me. Abaco, 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 calavanda, 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 Helen. Thank you.
Soko yimirire. Yimirira. Obutebe bukyuke. Let's stand up. I want space in the middle, yeah? Bana bali wakati. Yongere mabega, yongere mabega. Yongera ke mabega. Tebakunyige ebigere. Yongera ke mabega, yongera ke mabega. Kojja. Yongera space ni mala wano, yongera ke mabega. Ogenda mala oterere.
already know my name, but I'm going to write it for the sake of, yeah. If you're, maybe
maybe if you came, if I did my session before, and we're going to do a session on sexuality, but it has a bit of communication. And the way we're going to do it is that we're going to do the session together with you guys. And it's not hard. It's not science of HIV, of sexually transmitted diseases. The science of Herman. Herman was talking about, what are those hard words he was using? I thought relationships were simple until Herman's session. I started questioning my relationship. Where does it fall now? There is the one he asked her, I don't know what relationship he was asking you, that is your relationship, some word, maniac. I mean, who knew that we'd be thinking about maniac in our relationships? We just want date a boy, date a girl, date your partner, date whoever, and have fun. But now, sijui maniac, sijui erotic, what? Magic. There's one called magic? Like they bewitch you into the relationship? Oh, pragmatic. Platonic. Okay, whatever that Herman took us through. Mine is simpler, because the beauty with sexuality is that you're seated with it. So we're just talking about ourselves, what we think, how we feel, what we like to eat, who we like to talk to, how we like to dress generally. Eh? This is a simple session. But I ask you to co-facilitate it with me. So I want to kick off with a simple session with a game called Crossing the Line. That's why I requested for us to have the class divided. So let's have an invisible line. Imagine this is our line. Or maybe Solomon, if you could run a masking tape through here to just create a very clear line. And then I'll ask a few questions, and you step to the line, or you don't step to the line. Just be honest with yourself. It shouldn't be about your neighbor. It shouldn't be about your relatives. It just should be about you. What you think. There is no right, there is no wrong, there is just what you feel about these things. So we start, are you ready? Okay. They said the most vibrant group is the ones that roar. Which one? Simba. The Nobles. Okay, but is there a group called Future though? Mwebali? It's very ironical. You guys could be in the future. Are you here in the present? Okay, so they told me future is the most boring, and I think the excuse is that we don't understand them. They're in the future. They're not here. Yeah? And then the Nobles. What is your slogan? No boss? No boss? Transformers? But this name is patented, isn't it? Doesn't it belong to someone? Isn't there like some guy in the comic space called Transformers? Guys, are you the generation that don't know Transformers? Are you serious? You don't know Transformers? Oh Lord, I could have exposed my age. I thought you knew. No? Simba. Simba. Yeah, you guys are it though. And this one's ASAP.
Belong anywhere, bro.
ASAP. Wanji. ASAP.
Belong anywhere, bro.
I think these guys are going to take us through sexuality. They already know a part of it, that we belong anywhere and everywhere, I guess. The chipmunks. The chipmunks. Why are the chipmunks though? I mean, some of you are really cute. Chipmunks are cute. I think you chose yourselves, eh? But also, so you guys had time, and they asked you to choose a name. You chose chipmunk. Granted, it's cute. And then you said the rodent family? Like, what's with that? Like, why are you the rodent family? Kabaka Mwanga? Why are you the rodent family? Like, why the rodent family? That they are short, they have short teeth, and they're everywhere. So you have a relationship with ASAPs. You don't. I was very surprised that you chose the rodent family, but then again, that's what we're going to talk about, sexuality. You have your reasons, yeah? There are so many things you could have, so many families. But you know what? Do you? Do you in the rodent family? For us, maybe these ones are reptiles. I think Transformers are reptiles. So I'm going to ask us a few questions. Bear with me, I get them. But I ask you to move out of your chairs if you can. Move out of your chair. I don't need a book, I don't need a pen. Just push the chairs to the wall and leave space for us to... Push the chairs a bit, slightly back, eh? So that you have space to... Okwetala. Could you help me with that? Okay, okay.
Oh, sorry.
Do you guys want to join us?
No, we're just gonna leave it.
Okay. That's not what we're doing with the line. No? Okay, then will you tell us if we're distracting you? Are you able to do your thing? Okay, so I'm going to read a few things. And I want to start with the easy ones. These are hard. Ian, can I work without the microphone? Do I have to use it? I must use it? Okay, sad. So, our first question is, step to the line if you know a song of Beyonce. If you know any song of Beyonce, okay, let's get into formation, guys. Step to the line if you know Beyonce. If you know the Queen, Beyonce, and not Beyonce. I mean Beyonce, like Jay-Z Beyonce. If you know a song, what is this? You know half the song? Do you know a full song? I want to see those who don't know any Beyonce song. None? None? You have failed our generation, yeah? None? Any song, if you know it, you don't have to know how to sing it, but you know a song of Beyonce. Nothing? Well done. Are you in the line? Kule, you don't know any song of Beyonce? You know, but the line is full. Scoojin, like, come through. Just Scoojin. You don't know? You don't know Maurice? So all of us know the song of Beyonce. Doreen, Isaac, do you know any Beyonce song? Nothing? Come on. Doreen, do you know any song for Beyonce? Nothing? We need another queen of our generation. Beyonce has lost it, yeah? Shiba? Okay. We have very few people that don't know Beyonce. Step back out of the line. Step out of the line. I ask another question. May I pass? May I pass? Okay. A few people don't know Beyonce. Maybe she needs to do a tour in... I hear she's going to Dubai or somewhere. Then. Step in the line if you have ever gone to Wandegea. Step into the line if you've stepped in a place called Wandegea here in Kampala. Wheels, you've been to Wandegea, get out. Have you not been to Wandegea? No? What the hell are you people? No?
I've not been to Wandegea.
It's okay. Have you been to Wandegea? Hello?
Order, guys, order.
Hey. When I say hey, you say hey, hey, hey. Hey. Hey.
Hey.
Hey. The line is small. But all of us except 3 people have been to Wandegea. Step out of the line. Step into the line. This is now serious, yeah? Step into the line if you know any teenage mother. If you know, you know. They don't have to be your relatives, but you know them. You know a teenage mother. Okay, step out of the line. Step out of the line. Sorry, the line is a bit too small. Step into the line if you don't know any teenage mother. You don't know anyone. You don't know a teenage mother. It's okay. Hello? Guys, hello? Hey? Hey, you say hey, hey. Hey? Hey? Do you not know a teenage mother, Kenneth? You know? Get out of the line, Unywachi. Do you not know a teenage mother? Okay, so we have 2 people that don't know a teenage mother, yeah? But the rest of us, so I could comfortably say 98 or 99% of us know a teenage mother. They've not heard, it's not a statistic, but you know a teenage mother. Okay? Step in the line if you could tell your friends, guys, be honest. Step into the line if you know you can tell your friends comfortably that you have an abusive partner. If your partner is abusive, but you can tell them. You can tell your friends about it. Okay, we have, hey, tuchali mukirasi. Some of you have gone to the market. You're just screaming east west, yeah? So these are the people we die in our movie, yeah? Do we have film stars there? You die in your movie? But these ones here, you can talk to your friends that you know, that beats me. So Kevin, you can comfortably tell your friends that, let's say you are, just hypothetical, yeah? I'm not trying to move the word for you. Let's say you're dating Greener. Guys, I need you to pay attention. It's a class. Kevin, if Rina beats you, can you tell your friends like, Rina Nkuba? You're not beating. Rina is the one beating you. You're not beating Rina. Vianney, can you tell your friends that you know what? Rina beats me. When I go home, that woman lies me down on the ground and gives me cheboko. Your second guess. Wills, can you tell your friends that Rina beats you? Like, you know, guys, jokes aside, you've gone out for a drink, you're like, guys, the truth is, my girl beats me. Like, she does beat me. I don't know what to do about it, but she whoops the hell out of me. You can even show them an example? Okay, where's Isaac? Can you tell your friends that your girlfriend is beating you?
Sometimes, for example, I come home and I don't think
It's not you beating, it's her beating you. Thank you, Isaac. Okay, you know what we're going to do? Let's push the chairs a bit further to the wall so that we have a room to work with. Enomogana. Oh, you. Okay, the team here, they say they can't say it. They can't mention. So open the line. Let it be wide. Because we're going to make them two so that we can fit, yeah? Some of you can't see you clearly. So maybe we shall just step two people in the middle. Or would we rather just say you come this side? Okay, let's choose. Let's come to one side. So that we say you go this side. Okay, is this our right or left? Both? Fronts? Okay. Step forward, thank you. Step forward if you've been catcalled before. Let's first clarify what catcalling is. You know, pss, pss. Pss, pss. And they look at the pss. And then they blink for you, eh? It always has a sexual innuendo, eh? Like someone looks at like pss. Kababy, sweetie, eh? Gambachi, sexy. If you've been catcalled before in this our Kampala, make it clear. Go this side. Have you been catcalled? No? Extend. Hey. Hey. Hey, hey, hey. 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 Okay, guys, listen. You have to not talk because it's still class. Is that so hard to understand that it's still class? You imagine, I'm one short, small person. How many are you? You're 60. I can't compete with you. Eh? So just listen. Eh? We shall have time to discuss. So this side, clearly extend if you've not been catcalled. You've not been pss at. Yeah, especially like you're walking downtown. So the rest of these people, that you see the devil's child, that it's not a crime. Who asked you? So these people have been catcalled, yes? We're going to have a few experiences. So, Joel, where were you catcalled from and how did it feel?
By the way, I felt very bad. You know, when we are passing town there, those ladies who sell clothes, pss, pss, boy, so good.
So this guy, this handsome man here, has been catcalled by ladies. And you said it made you feel bad? What do you think they were catcalling you for? Did you think it was like calling you for clothes or they wanted to tap? You think clothes? They wanted you to buy clothes. That's crossover beads. I'll come to you, CJ. Kule, Where were you catcalled and how did it feel?
Me, I was catcalled on the streets of Kabalagala by these sex workers. So, me, I thought they wanted sex as in, oh, money in exchange.
How did you feel though? Did you feel like
What?
good about yourself a little bit or like?
I had to run for my life.
Boy, I had to run.
Okay. Have you been catcalled? Okay, tell us how did it feel? Where and how did it feel?
Well, I was walking somewhere in town. Then there is a girl that was serving, called me that, hey, was blinking the eye that I love you doing gestures.
Have we heard that the girl saw him doing gestures and I said, you know what, that works for me, yeah? Okay, I'm going to ask one of the ladies. Where were you catcalled from and how did it feel?
I'm catcalled each and every day.
Can you listen to that? Solomon, I'm very happy to be here because the thing to do is after that. She's saying that she's been catcalled every day. Whereas for the gentleman, it has been almost like an experience I can remember. For her, it's every day. She can't even choose a day, like every day. It's a daily thing for you. How does it make you feel?
It makes me lose my confidence maybe when I'm walking on the street.
It makes her lose her confidence when she's walking on the street. Thank you. I want to ask someone else, how did it feel? What were you catcalled? Is it often?
I was on the border, and then there is some guy said, "Border take out." Border take out. So I told the border guy like to go direct to that guy who was saying that border take out. So yes.
Yes, tell us.
So so when I reached there, the guy just shied away and he.
Did we hear that? Now our partners from the hub are saying if you're giving an answer, you come a bit in front so that they can see you. She's saying she was on a motorcycle and they said, put her there. Some guy called out, insinuating like, bring her to me. Then when she had the confidence to walk to the guy ran for his life. Tell us about your catcalling experience, but step a bit in front, yeah? Oh, okay. How did it feel?
Actually, it makes me annoyed every time. There is a certain day I was walking. A guy called me. I also went straight to him. And he was like, actually, he kept quiet. He couldn't say a thing. For me, what I do, every time they do that to me, I go straight to you. I go straight to the guy.
Okay, one last. Nahia. Hello? Hey. Hey. Guys, relax. Nahia, go. Listen.
It's almost every day. But these days, I have this tendency, I pretend I'm not hearing anything. But first of all, I first check if I'm okay. If I don't have anything missing with me, then I just continue walking.
So for Nahia, she becomes self-aware, yeah? The moment I start to catcall, Issa, you want to share? Yeah.
Do it.
Share with us.
Okay.
I'm going to pick you out. If you make noise, you get out. You give us space to learn, yeah?
Okay, this is serious. It happened to me like 3 months ago. We were shooting a movie, and I was the main director, Rich Hand Uganda, these icon movies. Then we booked our restaurant and whatever was there. They brought these young actresses, And they asked, who's the main director? Then they pointed at me, and these young actresses were like, hey, this guy is young. I was going to read the scripts behind the setting. Eh? Then the girl was like, good guy, yo. Huh? So that is my experience.
That's enough. Don't tell us more. How did you feel?
I felt good because
You felt good.
I'm a guy.
Did you hear that? Let's come back this side. Step back this side. Hey. Hey. Did you hear the difference between, remind me your name? Evelyn's experience and Issa's experience?
Yeah.
While Evelyn as a female and Nahia felt self-aware, lost confidence, felt intimidated, Issa felt good. When this woman cat called her, he's like, Checho. Okay, so, and we're going to expound on this later because we experience these things differently and we have a lot of gender foundations at play, yeah? But just hold on, we shall see it further. Step forward if you have been raised in a family of both your mom and your dad. Your parents, both of them together in that household, and that's where you've been raised. Step forward, be genuine with yourself. If you've been raised with both your dad and mom in the same house, you wake up every day and you say, hi mommy, hi daddy, what's up? Are you in the line? Are you halfway the line?
Like halfway the line.
There's no half. So these people this side, you've been raised with both your parents in the same house. Do you think that's a privilege? Do you think that's normal? What's your take on that? Where is the other mic? The other one, Adeline, yes?
Living with them or having both?
Living with them. I'm not saying they're alive. If you're living with both and you've lived with both your parents. No.
Okay,
Some of you have grown. Okay, if you grew up with both your parents in the same household. Adeline, what are your thoughts? Do you think that's a privilege? Do you think that's that's normal? What do you think?
I think at the moment it's a privilege.
At the moment it's a privilege.
Okay, no, it's a privilege actually because nowadays finding families with both parents, it's actually very hard.
When you were younger, did you think it was the norm?
I thought it was normal.
Or you thought you were special to have both your parents there?
I thought it was normal everyone had their parents.
She thought when she was younger, it was normal a household should have both. Yeah? Want to hear from Cedric. And you, how did you think growing up, and what did you think while growing up and now? Is there anything that has changed?
Literally, to me, having both parents and growing in the same house, actually it's a blessing to me, yeah.
Did you think when you're younger it was the normal thing to do?
Yeah.
You thought it was the normal thing to do?
Yeah.
I want to ask Joyce, what did you think about it? Do you think it was normal? Did you think as a young girl it was a privilege?
Well, when I was still young, I thought it is normal, actually. Everyone should have parents, both of them.
Okay, to this side. Have we lived with one? Have we lived with both? Have we lived with none? Well, we want to expound that. So stay this side and stay this side. Now, cross this side if you've lived with at least one of your parents. If you've grown up with at least one of your parents. You've not understanding it? If you know that okay, maybe daddy was there, or only mommy was there. Is this crossing the line? Are you in halfway? Was it half a parent? 3/4. If you were the parent, stay this side, okay? Because that means you're, okay. We have a few people left. Praise. We have a few people left this side that for us we grew up and in the household there was no dad and mom, or there was no dad or mom. Yeah? You're in between. They were off and on.
But Issa, are you sure or you're confused? Are you sure?
And no, so you're there.
About where?
And for you, what has been yours? Only with your mom for a long time? Okay. I want to come to you, Kule. What was it for you? Was it only your mom or your dad?
Only my dad.
Only your dad?
Yeah.
How did, growing up, what did you think about that arrangement? Was it a normal household? As a child, don't think about now that you've grown and you've been biased about all this hula balula. What did you think as a child?
As a child, I think it wasn't normal because I could see other kids playing with their moms and their family like at large. But for me, I only had a dad.
But for you only had a dad?
Yeah.
Does anyone want to share here? Issa, because, oh, okay. We're going to come to you. Issa.
So till I was 4 years, I was staying with both my mom and dad. When I clocked 4, my mom separated and she went. So I've been staying with my dad and my stepmom. So when I was young, it was very normal, very fine, until I was 16, when I started to realize that there are some gaps that I felt my mom could fill up for me.
When you grew up at 16, you're becoming a young adult and you start to see, if my mom was here maybe, should gap fill?
Yes.
So that, okay, we're going somewhere, bear with me. But these are a bit more serious. And I ask you to be open because that's the only way we're going to learn. Nahia, who did you grow up with? Your cousin. And how was life at your cousin's?
She's really parental. I've never felt that I miss my parents.
Okay, and did it feel normal? Like, I mean, life, this is how it should be when you're young, like maybe you're 13, 14. Do you ever feel like, is this okay? Or you're like, I have everything.
It is normal, I have everything.
She lived with her cousin, and for her it was normal when she grew up. That's what she knew. Like, that's also a type of a family, yeah? Doreen, do you want to share? Okay, Issa and then Doreen.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Me, I grew up with my granddie
Issa grew up with a granddie. Mm-hmm.
until today. I'm with her even if she's suffering from cancer, but we're happy.
You're happy?
Yeah, we're having
Did
a
you
happy
ever
family.
feel any different as, and I'm looking at like at an 11-year-old?
Yes, I did.
You did.
Oh, yeah.
Doreen?
For me, I just grew up in an organization. I grew up in an organization that cared for me. Actually, when I was 16 years, and then the government dispersed us from the organization because we have gone up, and then I went to stay with my mother.
Okay, that's very interesting. Did you hear that? So for Doreen, she grew up with an organization that took her on until the powers that be took her out of that organization where she's grown up. And the point here is that we've grown up with families that look different. And in a way, we've been told that a family should look a certain way. That as if a family is a table, that there is a part where you sit, a part where you lean, and a part where you put your computer or book. But in this class alone, we've realized that that's not how it is, isn't it? The people who have grown with both parents, the people who have switched from mom to dad, the people who have lived with only mom or only dad or with a stepmom or with an organization. And I want us to hold on to that information of how diverse what a family looks like is. And then we shall discuss how does it affect us when we know family is only one way, is only one shape. Because right now we're looking at various beautiful shapes. Beautiful shapes. Whatever way you think about it, for now let's think of it as various beautiful shapes. Let's cross back for just a few more questions. Are we back? Okay, cross forward if your parents have talked to you about sex. Step forward, guys, wait to step. If your parents have sat you down and they say, you know what, Cedric, you're now 18. You're starting to have sweet dreams. This is what it means. You know what, Shamira? Your periods have come. This is what it means. If they've talked to you, your parents, your guardian, whoever stands in for a parent, I don't mean your mom and dad. It could be that organization where you've lived. If they've told you about sex, and they've cautioned you maybe about safe sex or whatever they've told you about, but openly, not saying, "Have you been to BB?" That's different. That's not the talk. Like, those things are bad. Those things are for adults. Okay. So who would like to share? I don't want to pounce you up to share. Here? 1 minute, and then Isaac, and then the same.
Like when I approached 18, my dad sat me down and told me everything. He said, you are a grown-up man, so you should learn how to respect a couple. Or when you have a girlfriend, in case you have, protect yourself, always do like this in order to be a perfect boy.
What other thing did he say you do to be a perfect boy, apart from safe sex?
Then he told me, as I'm looking forward, I should look, or I should see the person I'm associating with, because the world is changing and there are rising diseases. So I should also be keen about that.
Okay, so that dad talked to him about sex, but listen, it was 1, about safe sex, and 2, about disease. Thank you for sharing. Here. What did they say and who talked to you?
When I was in senior 1, that's when I started my periods. And when I was going back, I was going to boarding school, and my mother told me, now if you sleep with a man, you're going to get pregnant.
Was it in like a scary way? Was it in like a fun way? Was it in a conscious way? What did it instill in you? Was it fear or?
As if she was scared of something, the fact that I was leaving her for the first time. So it is just like she said it. It is not like it. I don't think she planned it, because we were even like on the roadside going to school. She just said it on my way to school. Like, she didn't sit me down. Like, she said it like that.
Okay, so for Rina, it was not even planned. It just happened to her while they were going to school. And it was most likely out of fear, like sex is, don't do it now, you're old. If you have sex, this is going to happen. Any last experience here?
For me, my mom told me that when I
Cedric, don't say a word.
When I first had my first period, my mom told me that now you are a woman, and she could like go for some burial. She could come back and tell me that, do you know that person who died? Yes. She had sex before some age or before marriage. She could go for even a ceremony. She could come back and tell me, I'm from the burial. Do you remember what I told you about?
Oh,
yes.
Lord.
So if you have it, you will die. And
Did
when
we
I
hear
first
that?
had it, I didn't die. So my mom lied to me.
Have we heard what you said?
She could keep me in fear.
You can imagine the talk that this lady had with her mother about sex was that sex is very... She's telling us that the first time she heard about sex, the conversation with her mother, the conversation was that every time the mother went out of the house, whether for a ceremony, she'd come back and say, you see, I'm from a burial. This person had sex, now they've died. That was the conversation. And in a way, the mother was trying to protect, in the way that she knew. And then she ended by saying, then now I had it and I didn't die.
I waited.
You waited to die?
Yes, but first day, second day, third day, I said,
Did you make a will before you went into the act? Okay. So for the rest of us here, have we had any talk about sex before with anyone? Who has never had a talk about sex? Like, guys, it's a serious question. A genuine talk. Like someone sits you down. I don't know if it's a counselor, if it's a peer educator, if it's a health worker, and says, you know what? This is the detail. This is the in and out. Who of us here has had that detail? So if you've had it, tell us, who did you have it from? So CJ's first talk of sex and everything surrounding it was as a peer educator through the training. Yes, Vianney, you're the last.
When I was still doing my bachelor's, every semester reporting, Dad would, that last phone call to go back to campus, to hostel, be like, use a condom. That was the last word he would
That was the talk. My G, use a condom. Eh? Like I'm sending you off, use a condom. And they add things like be a man. Eh?
No, maybe he thought someone at campus, it's inevitable for some of these things to happen.
Okay, thank you. And one of the things I want us to, we're going to expound it later, but it is how sex has been packaged for us. That it has disease and it has fear. I mean, fear of death, that story, yeah? We need to expound it and write about it. Like, I'm coming from a barrier, they've had sex and they've died. That is the talk that our parents have had. And if you ask your parents, has anyone ever talked to you about these things? Do you think our parents have been talked to about these things? Imagine you as a parent now. You from this side who has not been taught nothing. What are you going to tell your child? You're also suffering. Ogenda chibatsa. Like ogenda gata, you're probably going to say, you're learning each and everything from here. So someone who has not come to the academy, chances are high they're also going to tell their child, if you have it, you die. If you have it, your breasts increase. Things like that, your penis shrinks. The most weird of things, so that you don't get to have it. But we're going to talk about sex in detail because it's more. It has components like consent. It has components like disease. Yes, they talked about them. Pleasure, rights, responsibilities. It has a lot of components. Okay, let's go back to this side.
You really missed the other
Step
side.
forward. If you can choose your desired partner, wait to move. If you, as a person, you can look at one Willis and you're like, I like Willis, and you walk up to him and you're like, you know what? Truth of the matter is, this is how I feel about this, and this is how I want it to go. So if you can choose your desired partner, that you've seen girls seated there in the back, you're like, Miracle is the girl that I want, and you're like, I don't care. Sit here, danger. You go there and you say, you know what, Miracle? Step forward if you can choose your desired partner. Don't lie that all men, guys. Don't lie that all men. Why are you mobilizing? Question? Hey. I said step forward if you can choose, if you can walk to a desired partner and choose them to be your partner. Let's start with one. Willis, it's not about a group of people. I'm asking it as an individual question. Because we're going to ask and expound the experiences, those that you've chosen. Yeah? So I'm going to ask, where's your tag? Why is it hidden? It beats the purpose if you hide it. So Trenoli. Okay, so Trenoli, is there a woman that you've ever desired and you've not gotten? Is it true that every woman you've, and I don't mean desired in terms of having sexual intercourse, I mean desired because you want to date them perhaps? Let's use dating. Is every woman you've wanted to date, have you dated?
Yeah.
And how was that experience like? You have to step a bit here. I'm not intimidating.
Yeah. It was okay. It was normal.
So you saw, no, just take us through the process. You saw a girl and?
I approached, told her my stuff, then
What stuff?
I won't go into detail, but yeah, stuff.
Stuff around your child stuff?
No, like I told her whatever I wanted to tell her.
Huh?
She accepted.
You told her around child want to get stuff?
I told her what I wanted to tell her, like what I admired about her.
And then she came around.
Yeah,
Has-
with time.
Has there been a woman that you've approached and they've said, you know what? I respect you, I see your hustle, but I'm not into it?
Nah.
No. Guys, it is his experience. Move it to Semujunganda. Tell us.
Yes.
Has there a woman that has rejected you in the past before? And I know when I say reject, men feel like I've bruised their ego. It's not about an ego. I'm just asking you as a human being.
Like me, I take my time and I look at somebody. If I have instead of getting you, I think about everything through again and again. So I first see your traits. So I haven't been rejected yet.
Okay. Thank you. And I'm going to come to you and you tell us. But also I want to ask another question. Is it about how you do it? Is there any balance that goes to the other party that allows you or doesn't allow you? According to what Semuju says, like I prepare my things, I come to you. Is it always about how prepared the other person is? No. Okay, let's just think about it. It is a rhetoric question, but dear, rhetoric. So you're not supposed to answer. Tell us, how has it been for you?
For me, I've always believed I don't judge a book by its cover. So I first observe, okay, like in case I appreciate a girl, I take time, understand her values, then if it suits me, then I'm fine. Okay, yeah. If it's either way, because it can't be like single, like one-sided.
Okay, it can't be one-sided.
Thank you. Personally, I trust the flow state. If it flows, it flows. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You don't have to work hard for someone to respect you or to love you. Some things just come naturally. So some people don't plan to fall in love, but it just happens. You guys just connect. And yeah.
Sometimes you just connect. It's not even planned.
Yeah, connecting.
In my Form 1, I was in a single school, that is Mariam High. And then they used to tell us, for a girl, you should be noticed, not seen. Like, I have that pride in me, I have to be noticed.
Did we hear that? That for a girl, you should be noticed and not seen. What's the difference? Like, if you're noticed, guys go like, and if you're seen, they go like,
you have that.
Kwetega.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay, that's very interesting. Just for the interest of time, I'm going to just try to wrap it up. But this side, one of the assumptions that come with choosing a partner, and I've seen it, Semuju, if you allow me, I will use your example. Is that okay? The thing from what Semuju has mentioned is that for men, it's always, and I think some men, maybe it's different. We shall ask these ones here. But most of them think like Semuju. They're like, for me, I have my game. I go, I prepare myself, I plan my way, and then I come for you. You can't reject me. That's usually the idea, that they don't think like you can play your game. That doesn't mean you fit my game. Isn't it? That you can come when you're perfectly put and I'm like, you're not my perfect. But let's listen to these men here. Kati, where you sitting? Then you go. There is a guy I'm looking for whom I can't find. Is it you that now you look different? A guy. Yesterday he was in the line, in the back line, wearing like those free shirts with shades. Where? Okay, it's okay. I've gotten the second one to that. Do share with us. What has the experience been with this partner?
I'm not so good with that.
What?
I'm not so good with that.
You're not good with that?
Yeah.
Why do you think you're not good with that? Have you approached anyone to be in a relationship? Has anyone approached you?
Yes.
Someone has approached you?
Yes.
Did you have a choice to say like no or yes? Or
Yeah, I had my choice.
You had your choice?
Yeah.
And you feel like you stood for your choice?
Yeah. He said no.
So you are this side which says you're not able to choose the desired partner.
Exactly.
Is there a specific reason why you can't?
Yeah.
That you would like to feel comfortable sharing? Which one?
No.
You don't know? Come on, Trevor. Okay, let's go back to this side. Quickly, step this side if you have discussed consent with your partner. Let me first talk about. Step forward if you have discussed consent with your partner. If you don't know the word consent, then probably you haven't discussed it, yeah? So step forward if you have had a lengthy conversation on consent, withdrawal of consent, what it means, how it affects you with your partner. You might know the meaning in Luganda. Let's pretend that you know it in English. Here, step forward. Step forward. Name Momo. Momo, you'd not be listening. All the time, Momo. Step forward if you've had a lengthy discussion on consent with your partner. You've sat and you've discussed consent, the ins and outs of consent. Also, if you don't know consent, you can also stay that side. We shall know that some of us maybe have, but they don't know. Okay, so you'll tell us what is it that you discussed. After you, Rina Momo.
Yeah, for me, we sat down and talked about when we should start having kids, when we should, about our vision, what we want to do as in work, supporting each other in whatever we do.
Rina, go back this side. You give Momo.
I don't know.
That's a bit too wide. I think you know that too widely.
Consent. Okay, we talked about if we were ready to have sex with each other, if we are going to use protection, if we are going to first have to test for AIDS before having sex.
And how did your partner feel? Who brought up the discussion?
He did.
He did?
Yeah.
That's a good man. Give Kule. How was yours? Isaac, have you discussed consent with your partner? I mean, which side are you? Okay. We shall come to you. No, you and then Isaac.
Okay, mine is not different from Momo's. It's like we had a consent between me and my partner for the first time we had sex.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Let's take our seats. And then we discuss this further. Let's. You have a few minutes to settle in. Please settle in quickly. Are we settled in? Sorry, we've disorganized the class. Now some of the people are packed somewhere, some are not. But we'll manage, yeah? I've been taking us through a lot of questions that speak to what sexuality is. Now, sexuality is broad. And if I'm to define it, it has a simple definition. Someone mentioned it, but I don't know their name. They mentioned it yesterday. No, they mentioned it in Ibra's session. But let's first do randomly. What do we think sexuality is? What we're doing here was part of it. But what do we think it is? Where's Mary? Mary has not come in today. There's so many faces missing. Do you guys know that we know you by face and name? So we can realize like someone is not here today. Okay, now that we don't have Mary, where is Tamel? I've seen him somewhere. In a black tie, he looks very smart today. Where has he gone? Mulaba. Agambachi. Oli kiriya? Kale. Tusanyisa okulaba. Funa w'otuula. What do we think sexuality is? There is Arthur and Asa. Where is Arthur? Where? Yes. Where's the other microphone? Have it moving so that we don't distract the hard people. You think sexuality is?
I think sexuality is about the feelings, the thoughts, how you feel about sex or other people.
How you feel about what?
Sex.
That last part spoiled it. Say it again. The
Feelings,
the
thoughts about sex or attraction towards other people.
About sex or attraction? Okay, let's just take the other two. Thank you, Arthur. That was a good try. Now, Asa. I don't know how to articulate your name, but. Honey? Madam Mobile. Koleza. Okay?
Thank you, madam. I'm Asa. Sexuality, I think it is the same as
You
others.
say that same.
It is the feelings according to the thoughts with someone.
Ne, Asa, okopye nnyo. You can't copy both his words. You change a bit. Pass it to your neighbor. You're the neighbor. You're the neighbor w'ensonga.
I think sexuality is how you relate like physically, emotionally with someone.
Say it again, how you relate physically and emotionally.
Yeah, like what Arthur said, feelings, thoughts.
Is
and
yours also
physically.
connected to sex or just generally?
Sex. That's why I said physical.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. There is an answer there, yeah?
I think sexuality is a state where you find other people physically, emotionally attractive.
Okay, lastly, there's a gentleman here, and then we can do from this side. But counselor, prepare your answers here, because you're quiet.
I think sexuality has to do with someone's understanding and knowledge about sex.
Knowledge about sex?
And understanding, yeah.
And understanding. Here, there's a hand here.
I think sexuality is about feelings, behavior, thoughts about someone.
Wow, say that again. Remind us your name.
Rita.
Rita.
Sexuality.
Say it again.
Sexuality is about feelings, behavior, thoughts, and attraction about someone.
Okay, so yours is about someone, not necessarily sex. Next.
I think sexuality is about someone's feelings, thoughts, attractions, and behaviors towards other people.
Towards other people? Yes?
For me, I think sexuality is a person's sexual orientation or preferences, which are physically, mentally, and emotionally.
Alesemu, sexual orientation. Lastly, there. Okay, then we have Nahia and that's another Arthur. Why do I think you're also Arthur? We'll pick you.
I think sexuality is about gender.
Okay.
Because there are females who think they're males and there are males who think they're females. There are males who think they're males and there are females who think they're females.
So gender,
Does
you're
that
adding
make sense?
in gender identity.
Yes.
We have Nahia and we have him.
I share the same answer. It is the identity of the gender.
Okay, gender identity. Lastly,
I think sexuality is knowing about the advantages and disadvantages of sex.
to know about the advantages and disadvantages. Honorables, any answer here? Don't say it is already there.
Their feelings. Their feelings about someone.
Their feelings about somebody. Their
I don't know. I'm not defining it, but I'm trying to add on something. I think sexuality is dynamic.
You think it's very dynamic?
Yeah, it changes with time.
Okay, Wills, I'm going to ask you later. Sexuality. I'm going to come to you. I just want you to know I've seen that your hand was up. There is an example that we usually have, and maybe we can have it very, very quickly. We've had it in every class. You weren't here. But I don't know if it's going to work in this particular. Hasemu Junganda, you come. You come. You come. Where is John? Yeah, I was looking for you. So John, him. Yeah, then him, and lastly, could you maybe extend past where CJ is so that you're in the same line and we can observe you? Let's add spice into your line. And maybe we add Hassan. Hassan, you join us. I think you'd be a good add. Hassan, you know what they say about revenge? So let's look at these gentlemen. Forget what you know about them. I know most of you already know them. Forget what you know about them for just 1 minute. I'm going to ask a few questions and you just answer randomly. One side and one side. Who of these people is the most, who do you think, forget what you know, who do you think, just by looking at them, who do you think is the most religious? Who?
Vianney.
Diani? Diani, where are you? Vianney. Vianney is the most religious? Why do you think Vianney is the most religious?
His ways.
His what?
Ways.
Really? Okay, thank you. Wills, Who do you think is the most religious and why? Quickly.
Hassan.
Hassan, why?
Yes. First of all, by me being a Muslim, that one easily describes
Merely by
one.
being a Muslim, you
Yes.
are likely to be more religious. Who do you think? Lee? Why?
Because of the.
The turban? Yes, Naya? Bannett?
Yeah.
Bannett, where are you? Why Bannett?
He looks humble.
Bannett because he looks humble. Guys, hey, we said forget what you know about them. Just watch them. According to Nahia, Bannett is the most religious. Cedric.
Trenoli.
Who?
Trenoli.
Trenoli, why?
With the turban.
Because of the turban? Mm-hmm.
To me, I think it's Jasper.
Jasper? Why Jasper?
It literally looks humble and, yeah, it looks to be religious.
Okay, who would you try? Yeah.
Hassan.
Hassan, why? Hassan, almost has stood abantu. I feel like you've been mobilizing. Who would you trust?
Aina kanena kabasidamu.
Swigida. Is it there? Who would you trust with your money? If you had your 2 million shillings and you meet these people, you have no option but to leave it with someone for like a day, who would you trust your money with?
I would trust Vianney.
Vianney? Why Vianney?
He looks calm.
He looks calm. Who would you trust with your money?
I think Vianney.
Vianney, why?
He looks responsible.
He looks responsible.
Hassan.
Haman, who would you trust with your money? Lee? Lee because he has a turban? He can keep it in the turban. Yes? Stamil?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he looks trustworthy and honest.
He looks trustworthy and what? And honest. And he can put it under his heart. Eh? No. Adeline and who would you trust? Who would you give your money?
I think I'll trust Jasper.
Jasper?
Yeah.
Really? Why?
Why?
With your 2 million? You trust Jasper with your 2 million?
Amongst all of them, he looks like he's the one who can keep it. The rest look like they can spend it, or you never see them again after the money.
Who wouldn't you give it to?
John.
They wouldn't give it to John. Okay, another question. Another question. Who do you think? I have to ask this one very carefully. Maybe I change the question. Who would you think is the most stubborn if you looked at them? Unanimously, who do you vote? Who do you vote? John or Bennett? Bennett. John. Who of these people do you think supports Arsenal? If you look at them. Let me choose my person to tell me. Who do you think supports Arsenal? Not what you know. Who has Arsenal tendencies? Vianney?
Him.
Bennett?
Yeah, I think.
Don't tell us. Bennett. Manute Twaula. We are just learning. Who do you think supports, okay, we exclude him now because he has disclosed. Who do you think supports Manu? Who has the tendencies of Manu? Manchester United.
I think Jasper supports Manu.
Jasper supports Manu. Why did you think Jasper supports Manu?
He sent crying emojis last night after we drew. After Crystal Palace drew us
Don't
last
bring
night.
the things of last night. What is this? Don't tell us. Why did you choose? Who did you choose? Why did you choose Vianney for Arsenal? Cedric, who would you say supports Liverpool and why?
Liverpool.
Yeah.
I think no one. No one there can support
Why would you say
Liverpool.
no one?
Actually, no one looks to support Liverpool right now.
Do you think in here there's like a supporter for Man City?
For Man City,
Hmm.
I think the guy, that
Lee.
guy. Yeah.
Why?
No, not the first one, the second one.
Bannett.
Mm.
Why?
He looks to be a new supporter of football, though he's supporting Man U.
Yes? You wanted to say Manu. Who do you think supports Manu?
I don't know
Hassan?
his- yes.
Why?
Because they allow.
He's chaotic, eh? And Manu people are chaotic. Okay, who of these people, if we told you that one of these people has a PhD, who would you say has a PhD? Think carefully, because you're going to give a reason. Vianney? He's dressed in gentle, the shoe, he has specs, he has beard. Did you see how she said beards? That she had. Okay, who do you think, if we tell you that in this gentleman, there is one who stopped in primary 2? Isaac, who do you think stopped in primary 2?
I think that one.
Okay, Isaac, what do you think?
I think it's the guy. This guy.
Who do you think? Guys, the reason I've handpicked you is because I know you will not, your feelings are not going to be affected easily. You seem outgoing. Who do you think is the richest? If we tell you that one of these guys is a don.
I think this one.
Hassan, why? Because of the shoe?
Like just the way you look at him.
Moja tomera. Who do you think? Yes, Joel? Thank you. You think Vianney?
Vianney, because rich men don't wear expensive clothes. So Vianney. Yeah.
Do you guys know an insult in a compliment? That Vianney, because he's wearing cheap clothes. These are the people, this is the guy that will tell you, you look beautiful in the dark. Huh? Joel, why do you have to go and be that petty? Who do you think, out of these people, if we told you one of these people is a teacher, who would you choose as a teacher? Don't bias her. You have to give us a reason.
Vianney.
Vianney, who would you think, out of these people, the question comes to you, who do you think, if we said someone, think very carefully, if we said that one of these people is a father of girls, who would you choose? Who do you think that one of them is a father to 3 girls or 2 girls? Don't bias. Don't bias her. If you don't know their names, you just point at them.
I think Hassan.
Hassan. Why?
I would, because I would name it like his age, maybe, probably. I don't know.
Hassan. Hassan Vambana. Okay, the last question. The last question that I'm going to ask about these gentlemen. If you see them, who would you think? I'm split between 3 questions because I feel like some of them you might zero to the same person. No, I'm going to ask a particular person. Who of these guys do you think would be your friend? Like you're like, this person, I think we can be friends, can make a good friend.
I think Jasper.
Why?
Because he looks to be kind and to get along with.
He looks to be kind and you can get along with?
Yeah.
Who of these guys do you think can be your friend? Thank you.
John.
John? Why John?
I think John is so free. And,
You think John is free?
Yes.
He looks free, yeah?
Yeah, he
Like
looks
he's easy.
Yeah, very easy.
I want someone who I'm sure has not interacted with these people a lot. Because Eve, why are you all saying, Eve, why are you not interacting with people?
I interact with them.
They are lying. Eve, who do you think? I think Eve, it might be complicated. Who do you think was here? Who of these people could be your friends? Who do you think can be your friend? Or if you were to choose them to be your friends, who would you choose? Just a friend. Which one? Vianney? Why? He's outgoing and free? Okay. Eve, who would you choose? Who of these gentlemen do you think would be your friends if you were to choose? Just by looking at them. Let's say you met them on the street, you've never talked to any of them, and you just had to choose one person to be your friend.
John.
John. Why John?
He has vibe. I think we'll just
He has
match.
vibe.
Yeah, he has
He
vibe.
looks like he has vibe. Yeah. Okay, gentlemen, thank you. Sleep. Let's do pa 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 for them. Pa pa pa, pa pa pa, pa. Please take a seat. Thank you. Some of them, take it easy on Hassan. They have told us that. Issa, do you want to make your comment publicly? Speak with your chest.
I was suggesting they also bring also girls and we see. Because girls were participating, we want to also see Andy.
So, one of the other reasons that, I saw that they had stood for long, but I wanted you to look at the haircuts and see how different they went to the salon. If you look at Semujunganda, he went to the salon, and that's the thing that he cut. And you look nice. That's a good hairstyle. And his hair is semi-kempt. You look at Hassan's. And it's fun. John, you look at John's. It even has a line. And look at Bennett's. And then where is Vianney? Look at Vianney's. Which other gentleman was there? Where's Jasper? Look at Jasper's. And then look at Stamil. I don't know if that's, we can't see, but he has a floral cape. So if you look at these men, they went to the saloon, probably paid the same money, and got different hairstyles, isn't it? You can look at another one as Mark. See Mark in the back. Mark, you wave. Do you see Mark's hairstyle? Come on, guys. You can't see it? Mark jangu tukulabe ko dear. Come and we see you. Someone told us that you can't be seen. You can be what? Thank you.
Okay.
That we clap for him as he comes.
Abako, Kalavanda. Mark, Abako.
seen Mark? Have we seen Mark Anto's hairstyle? Mark, sorry. He decided, why didn't you do that hairstyle of Semujungand? Why are you laughing? Okay, what didn't you do for Hassan?
Hassan, stand up.
Wama Hassan Tula. Well, why didn't you do for Jasper? Why did you choose to Jasper, you wave. Why not the same?
I used to at a point, but right now they don't speak to me. Also, I don't have a lot of time to come, so.
Okay, he has no time to come, but I want us to go to they don't speak to me. Eh? Right now, no wokuba semuju to cut that hairstyle. Jakugambe yabasomesa. If you ask this man, Mr. Director, to cut Mark's hairstyle, he will not allow, because it doesn't speak to him. Are we together? That's what sexuality is. So if you thought it was sex, did you see any sex in the hairstyles? Simply put, that's what sexuality is. It is the way you express yourself. So that is wide, it is broad, but it is the way you express yourself. Most of you are right, especially her, the way she articulated too. It has a lot to do with behavior, what we do. What is behavior in your languages? I know it in Uganda. Yeneisayo. Huh? Sexuality is why you do what you do, but how you behave, how you express yourself. And expression starts with the hair you choose to have, that you can go to a salon and you can plait that, this one, any different hairstyles. All these hairstyles, by the way, if you go to the salon, they're there. But you choose what you want. There is a reason why you choose. And Mark gave us a reason when he said, it doesn't speak to me. You do what speaks to you. You wear what speaks to you. If you wake up and you want to bounce, peace and love. If you want to catwalk, peace and love. Everything that you are choosing to do is your sexuality. I don't know what CJ is doing, but do for us again and we see.
This guy, John.
But you do for us a bit and we see. So if you want to walk like CJ, it's also fine. It's how you choose to express yourself. Now, this statement, the way we choose to express ourselves, you're not born like that. We know that, isn't it? This philosopher, was it Aristotle? Was it Emily Durkheim? Some guy, but an idealist. He said that the mind, when you're born, the mind is a tabula rasa. It's a blank check like this. It's just blank. And then you keep adding. And we're going to realize, why do you add? How do we get to add? What happens? How come you're born a tabula rasa, you're born a blank page, and then things come in? You start to walk a certain way, love some clothes, cut certain hairstyles, speak a certain way, love certain people and not others. Where does that come from?
Family background, the schools you go to.
Like when we grow up, we feel it. Like you can see someone walking, slaying. Society. Society.
Society. There, CJ. Khadija there. Society and lastly?
Some of them we copy from people we admire.
We copy from people we admire, we model. Okay? Jeremiah? Peer influence, that was the hand the other side. Nahia? Upbringing, the way we've been brought up. This is very true. Viania, one last one. Nabagamba, did you eat muogo at breakfast? The way, we've said sexuality is the way you express yourself, and it's the behavior yeneisayo. But the way we behave is based on something. We don't choose it. Some of it we choose. It is both in the subconscious and in the conscious. Go back to our game. Do you remember the questions we asked during our game? What were cursing lines? A lot of that speaks to who we become now. Speaks to the decisions that we make now. Now, sexuality has 5 circles. Some tissue. It has this circle, which is a foundation. And this is a circle of values. This is the circle that answers the question of why. Has someone ever done something and you look at them and you're like, but why? Huh? Has that happened to you? Like they meet you and you're very perturbed. You're like, why did you do that though? Like, why are you doing that? I usually ask my friends, like, why are you like this? I think I usually ask, like, there are a few people that you want to question the Marx, the Kasules. You're like, why are you like this though? Why are you this person? It answers the why. Most of the things why we do what we do is consciously and subconsciously based on this circle of values. What are some examples of our values? Who hasn't said a word? They're in lime green. Forgotten her name. What are some of your values?
Respect.
Respect. Any other?
Hard work.
Hard work.
Prayer.
And you're prayerful. Okay, what are some of your values? Momo.
God.
Godly?
Yes.
Okay, Rina?
Privacy.
You're a very private person. Rita? Rita?
Honest.
Honesty, thank you. Asa or Asa? What are some of your values?
I think being friendly.
Being friendly? Okay, the person in front of you.
Trust.
Trustworthy. Okay, my question would be, and there. That lines, the 3. Why? Why do you think these people have these values? Why are some people respectful, some trustworthy, some friendly?
I think some of them is how they've been raised.
It's how they've been raised? Thank
Yeah.
you. Roll it this side, yes.
Well, some of us pick up things growing up, like you choose a path. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to represent myself.
You choose it. Some of them become choices that you make as an adult. Thank you.
I think some of them are, maybe they have been inspired.
Some have been inspired, and some have been hurt. Yeah? Someone can say, I'm now private because every time I talk to someone about my things, they scattered them out there. But mostly they pick them from here. Isn't it? They pick them from here. And that's the beauty about this session, that you have the answers. It is more a VCAT than it is a session to facilitate. So the foundation of why we are who we are is values. Some of us don't even have the values. Is there someone without a value? Just tell the truth. Some people I know. And there's some way we're struggling with our values. Tetunazitereza. Wama tell us your values.
God fearing.
Well, to me it is sanity. Something that gives me peace is what I respect.
Kasafu Kanyama.
You have any value?
Just vibes.
They're working on vibes. Now, as a peer educator, banange tukusaba, we did a session of Andinda, we did a session with Franco, and Herman sort of touched a bit of it. We want you to build your values. If you're here and you're like Solomon, you're connecting. Nsaga bambe solali na value. You have to get values as a person, principles. There should be a reason for what you do. If you don't have, it's okay, but Teresa, Sija, I want to hang my things, my minutes are getting done. Just put tissue. Why do I keep calling it tissue? Hold it. So we have a few circles that speak to our sexuality. We have a circle called what? Sensuality. Our little rabbit called sensuality. We have another little rabbit called sexual health and reproduction. I've written them like this so that I can leave them for you to read, because I'm sure I'm running out of my time. I have another circle called sexualization. Should have put them on a blank page. There are 5 circles, so we have 3, 4, and 1 to go. There is a big butterfly there, written on values. These are the 5 famous circles of sexuality. And I want us to just spend 2 minutes. So let me know how many minutes I have, and I see how to work with them. 15? Okay, we should work with that. So these are the 5 circles, and we've said their foundation is values. These circles represent different things. The circle of sexual identity. Remember you talked about it. Someone talked about it. In it. Some people here talked about sexual identity. And sexual identity just says, how do you perceive yourself as a sexual being? I want to make a disclaimer before I talk about sexual identity, because you misinterpreted. Our purpose here is to give you information. Adequate and accurate information. You as an adult in this room, we want you to make an informed choice after we've given you the information. Are we together? So don't say, oh, is that right? Are you saying that's the right thing or that's the wrong thing? We're giving you the information and we want to trust you to choose. We're not a generation of hand-holding. We are the populace, so we must be able to make our own choices. And that's why I'm going to give you this information. I'm only informing you. So choose what to do with it, yeah? especially this circle of sexual identity. So we are saying this is how you perceive yourself as a sexual being. This circle also talks about gender. It's hinged in gender, and some of you are studying gender at uni. There's an example that I use when I'm doing this session commonly. I share my experience in my gender class, or in my gender workshop, that I'd gone to learn about gender, and I think we're like 20, 25 people. And we all met someone in the elevator. We met a woman wearing tights. They were like pink in color, wearing big ass jacket, a long trench coat. I think it was also like red. She had a longer wig, big shades, big bag, a lot of bangles up to like here. She was just too much. She was too much, really, to say the least. And all of us met that woman. When we entered our gender class, we found the person who was going to take us through was a gentleman, very smart, in a navy blue suit, looking pink. And then he asked, did anyone meet anything unusual? We said yes. He said what? He said, we met this madam in the elevator that was too much. He said, did everyone meet the woman? We said yes. We discussed the woman for like 10 minutes. And after he said, no, that was me. We were like, what? And that was our lesson on gender. Gender is what does that teach you about gender? I know some people are paying attention. Lee? What does that teach you about gender? Think about it. We're going to circle back to you. You wake up. Yes, Isa?
It's the way you choose to perceive yourself.
The way you choose to perceive yourself. So gender is a social construction. Are we together? It's what society thinks should be a man and what society thinks should be a woman. That's why in that elevator, when we saw that madam, we assumed it was a madam because she was in high heels, big bangles, big hair, a handbag. We're like, there is no man who is going to come with big hair and a handbag wearing pink and red. So we immediately thought that is a woman. Gender, these are social constructions. Gender is social constructs. What society comes up with. And later when we found him in a suit, we're like, oh, obviously this is a man. With that said, I want some people to tell me their gender and their sex. Any volunteers? Okay. There is a volunteer. Where? Yes. I'll just ask you 2 questions, answer them, and therefore, what's your sex?
My sex? I'm heterosexual.
Your sex is heterosexual?
Yeah.
What is your gender?
I'm female.
You're female, why?
I'm female not because it's socially constructed, but because I'm female. I believe I'm female and I'm female.
You feel female, you believe you're female, thank you. Bring it here to Vianney. What is your sex?
I would say I'm sapiosexual.
Now you guys, ogenda ka box notekako sapiosexual. Kakuuza what is your sex? Huh? What is your gender? What's the reason for your sex?
Because
Okay, we're not going to move with the microphone because I want to move fast. What's your sex?
Female.
Why?
Because I was born with a vagina.
Because you have biological characteristics. What's your gender?
A woman.
Why?
Because when I go out there, people will assume I'm a woman.
What's your sex? Male. Why?
Male because of the characteristics.
Because of your biological characteristics?
Yes.
What's your gender?
Masculine.
You are saving?
No. Okay, gender I'm not sure, but masculine something.
Your secrets?
No.
Masculinity. What is your gender? Why?
Because when I go out there, everyone, the way I present myself shows that I'm a woman.
Perfect. That's it. Momo and Nahia have hacked it. You're a woman by gender because the society associates certain things with you. It can be as simple as I'm a woman because I make the bed. I'm a woman because I'm the one who takes care of the babies. I'm a woman because... So gender is associated with gender roles. Are we together? What is it that people think a woman does? Then for a man, what is it that people think a man does? Then sex has a lot to do with your physiology, with your anatomy, your biological characteristics. You are female because you have breasts, you have a vagina, you have a uterus. You are male because you have testicles, you have a penis. Biological characteristics. And then, still on sexual identity, we have the transgender, and Herman talked about them. Google more about them. But they're simply people who feel they were born with biological characteristics of male or female, but they feel they should be another gender. Are we together? So they go, they put in money, and they do plastic surgery, and they give them. You've seen the... Google the surgery for making a penis a vagina. It's there. It's very interesting. I mean, science has taken things a bit too far. But you watch them and you are amazed. They've not yet pulled, I haven't seen one for making a penis, but they've said that's research that is being done. That's transgender. They keep changing themselves. Are we together? This also has, someone mentioned, this also has a lot to do with there is something she mentioned, that she's heterosexual, yeah? That is an orientation. That's not your gender, it's your gender what? Orientation. You've had people say me, I'm straight. We know what straight means. And they even say that's a stigmatization term. And other ones say, I'm male and I prefer, I'm attracted to fellow male, I'm female, I'm attracted to fellow female. That's a concept of sexual identity. But that's part of sexuality. That's who you want to feel like. And it is influenced, we've said, for you to even feel, the way you feel is influenced by your values. Are we together? Okay, I want to wrap up because I think we're running out of time.
Helen, there's a question.
You have a question? Is it on sexual identity? Yes. Okay, quick.
When you asked me what my sex was and what my gender was...
Okay, just a minute. We have... Bob katukulinde ne muno muwanike bana.
I was asking, like, when you asked me about my sex and my gender, before this, like before being enlightened, I thought sexuality, before that sexuality, like I thought when someone asks me like, what's your sexuality? I either specify myself as a heterosexual or asexual or bisexual. So you say that is an orientation. Okay.
So that's how we're going. There's a sexual orientation that you are heterosexual and you're straight. There are people who you find attracted to both sexes, so they are bisexual. People who are attracted to male, homosexual. Female to female, lesbian. Those who don't want to have any sex, asexual. We also have those that are just not attracted to anyone. We have those that are attracted to things. That list keeps going farther and farther. But that's not why we are taking you through this session. I just want to show you how broad sexuality is. Are we together? That's just part of sexual identity. You're going to be a peer educator and young people are going to ask you that, but for me, do I have a problem? This is how I identify. How is it that you're going to respond to them? Go back and dig to their... Don't impose your values on other people's values. Are we together? Don't impose. No, you guys can stay here. It's just a banner. Huh? You want to see how it's going up, how it's going down. It is making noise.
Distracting them.
Some of us are gaping like, it's just a banner. Huh? Small banner. Okay. I was saying, Don't impose your values on other people's values. Because where you pick them is different from where they pick theirs. Go back to our game. People have different experiences. We go to sensuality. The lesson here is on gender. We have another session on gender, so I won't touch a lot of it. Here, sensuality is just, I want to spend some time here. These ones you already know somehow. So I want to spend time here to talk about sensuality. Because sensuality is the level of awareness and acceptance of ourselves. What are some characteristics that you're not accepting yourself in your skin? How would you know? Okay, how do you know Nogambo no Yebambi? They have accepted themselves, they're okay with who they are, they've made peace with it. Do you think you can tell such a person? Can you look at them and know? How?
Depending on how they behave when they're around people, yeah.
Depending on how they behave when they're around people. The way that body awareness or just awareness of yourself and acceptance of yourself can be noticed. If you're just there, you can look at someone and haven't you ever had that observation? You're like, this person loves themselves, but this person, I'm not sure. It could be because of how they dress, how they walk, who they talk to, how they pass by you. Someone can pass by you and you're like, for example, do we think John Yeyagala? No. Do we think John is aware of themselves? No. John, are you aware of who you are? Do you feel like you're comfortable in your skin? And it's also going to depend on what people put on. Some of you can't put on like the way John is putting on today. Ogamba me? The people who are bold, how many of us can wear Jamil's Supreme Heart? You must be a comfortable person. You're aware of yourself. You wear what you want when you want to wear it. You're going to see some guys who have dreads. Some guys want them, but they can't plait them. You don't want to be the center of attention. There are some colors that you don't want to wear. You're like, I cannot wear that pink dress for me. But the other things will be like where you find someone is bleaching. You've bleached the hell out of your entire body. If you're P-educated and you're here, we pray in the name of Jesus that you accept and love the body that you're in. Hassan. Hassan bleached himself dark. Hassan, why did you change your skin color to velvet? Anyway, the point is, we tell you as peer educators, even as human beings. Okay, Haman is asking that we break our session for a bit, and we have someone very important to us, someone that has spoken to the sexuality of men, someone that has made men bold in this space. So I'm going to ask you, because it's important that you consent, yeah? Most of you have been saying, guys, we end late, people come late, but it's because we want you to take everything on. And I know you have other programs, but we're asking that we break a bit for 10 minutes. He doesn't have a lot of time, and then we shall come back. And I'm sure this session of this gentleman is going to take us well to awareness of who we are, accepting and celebrating ourselves. So, Haman, without any further ado, fetulinze.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we have a very special guest in the house. I know most of you have been asking me for Matthias Walukaga. Matthias Azze. But we have a special guest who's going to be sharing with us a lot today. So I'm going to ask the gentleman to first lead us in a kabako as he walks through.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's stand up. Let's stand up. He's a great icon. He's the biggest, the legend. Let's stand up. Let's honor him. He's the legend. Let's give him an abako for. Abako, 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 Kalabanda, 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 to the legend Zamba!
Wow, the room is electrified. I love that. Koi koi.
Dia.
Koi koi.
Dia.
Onachiria, oliachiria, ulira bwenchiria. Koi koi. Koi koi.
Dia.
Onachiria, oliachiria.
Ulira wenchiria.
Oh yeah. You can all be seated, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a very special day, right? Because I get an opportunity to finally meet all the great minds that Humphrey has been telling me about. The minds that are shaping community, that are making sure that our people that we love so much stay alive and that our community is sustainable, right? What's an African community without sustainability? That means our minds must be healthy, our hearts must be healthy, and our community must be healthy. Even financially. I'm here to talk to you about finances as well. So, I mix Luganda and English. You'll forgive me, I'm a very Pan-African speaker. I believe that our languages represent us, and through that people can clearly understand the essence of what we're trying to address. So, nzigulewo banzigalewo. Okay, balingina bagamba muyite manju. Okay. Yeah, also help me hold this. Thank you. So for those of you who don't know who I am, they're like, who is this guy with these big dreadlocks speaking to us? My name is GNL Zamba, and GNL stands for Greatness of No Limit. I believe that at the highest level of one's self-expression, you can achieve the greatness that knows no limit. The greatness that I'm talking about lies in all of you. You who are choosing to become leaders exemplify that. Leadership is greatness. And anybody can become a leader, but there are those who choose to take their leadership and take control of it, and take control of the narrative, and take control of the health of themselves and the health of their communities. To me, that's leadership, and that's greatness. So I was born Ernestine Simbi. I was born in Kawempe. I wasn't born in Muyenga like you guys. I was born from a poor family, and I use the word poor loosely because Africans are naturally blessed, right? So we use the word poor to mean resources sometimes, but I don't think I was poor from the household where I grew up. I grew up loved, catered for, and I was immunized. That means that my parents took extra care, right? Safuna measles, safuna vichi. That means that the parents were educated before that to ensure the safety and the better livelihood of their son, the son would have to be immunized. Which together, simple things. I grew up in a neighborhood where other parents refused to take their children to get immunized. Some died, others caught polio, whichever. But I'm fortunate enough that I'm speaking in front of you today, sharing stories of my experiences. I hope to answer more questions than, I don't like to speak to you. I want to answer the questions that you may have. So we might facilitate learning. As an African traditionalist, I'm excited that we are seated in this format. Do you know what the people from Acholi call this? Is anyone from Acholi here? What do they call this in traditional Acholi? The wango. Which they call it the wango. The wango is a way that I sit while facing you, right? Tewali was stage, but we sit facing each other and we share stories and we share experiences. As Africans, we sit around a fire, form a circle or form a semicircle, and we look at each other and we learn from each other. Each other's experiences are what's important, because peer to peer, that is how we correct our mistakes and become better and become greater. I stand here because I believe in greatness and that I'm standing amongst greatness. Lupia Zita, thank you so much. He just mentioned my great-grandfather's name. When you're introducing yourselves, how do you introduce yourself? For example, if I asked you, what's your name?
Nahia Nuriat.
Nahia Luriat? Nahia. Wow, where's that from?
It's an Islamic name.
It's an Islamic name. Thank you, Nahia. How about you, sir? What's your name?
Egonu Aaron.
Egonu Aaron. Where's Egonu from?
Soroti.
Soroti. Is that a traditional name? What does it mean?
I actually just inherited it. It was given to me after somebody.
You just inherited it. Banang Africans are lucky, eh? Yeah, but the reason why it's important for us to... So from these two examples, right? There's Nahia, and then there's Egon. Egonu. I need to work on my pronunciation. So of these two names, the way that we choose to introduce ourselves speaks a lot about who we are, right? So from her name, I can tell that she's a Muslim, right? And from the way that she's dressing, I can tell that you're not from any other place. You're not from Sweden, but you're from Africa, right? So to me, mentioning a name like Lupia Zita reminds me of my responsibility to my people. Just like her name reminds her of her obligation to follow the Quran and what it entails. So what we call ourselves, when you go back and somebody asks you, what do you do? Make sure that the first name that you put in front of all the other things that you do represents who you are, essentially. When people ask me who I am, I tell them I'm GNL, because GNL represents greatness with no limit. The reason why I told you that I'm from a ghetto is not to get a sympathy vote, but it's just to draw that we can all come from whatever circumstances we come from and shape the future of what we want to become. Oba wava ghetto, that's just a background, but your future could be as bright as the sun. So, with these few introductions, in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to open up the floor so you could ask me questions, because I believe learning is in asking questions and getting them answered, learning from each other. So what I'm doing currently is music and multimedia entertainment. That's information, education, and then entertainment. I believe that through all of those mediums is how we can reach young people, old people, and change our communities, because uninformed generation is always a powerful generation. Our communities perish because they don't have the right information. Information about health, information about physical health, information about mental health, and also spiritual health. Spiritual health is very, very important. So many people waste time on social media, spewing negativity, instead of building each other up. We're tearing each other down. So I think it's the duty of also leaders to make sure that the community is healthy, even in the way that it operates, how you relate to her, how she relates to you. So my company is called Baboon Forest Entertainment. We began as just rappers, and then now we are evolving into edutainment, infotainment, and entertainment. So documentaries, films, and TV shows. And if I'm lucky, hopefully one of you will come and intern at our offices and see what we do over there. Yeah. So I'd like to open up the floor to whoever has questions. Maybe a moderator can help me pick a few people, and we'll hand them microphones.
Thanks very much, the greatness. As you are introducing yourself, there is something you didn't tell us. We know you are a musician. Since we have different passions as people, what inspired you and what led you to join the music industry?
What inspired me to join the music industry was because I believed in myself so much. The very first offer that I got after completing my university degree, which was in environmental management, was a district environmental officer, assistant district environmental officer. And the place was so far from Kampala. I said, I'm not going to go to a place where mosquitoes have teeth. Again, I refused. And I told my parents that I was going to actually become a creative. And I told them that I was the one who was going to change our family's history from being poor to actually providing for ourselves. Now, as you know, African parents, they look at you as a mad person for even saying that. Because everybody is supposed to go to school, then you go get a job, and then you work until you die, have some kids and whatever. But I'd read a book, and that book was called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. How many of you have read that? You've read that, right? So that switched my mindset from the ghetto of Kawempe, and all of a sudden I was seeing myself in New York, you know, I was seeing myself in LA. Like everything around me was just like, this is temporary. I'm going to do something greater and something bigger. So the way that I saw myself serving my community best was through hip-hop music and doing something which I truly loved. So I still love the environment, and I'm doing programs that are going to be changing the environment and doing some environmental education in our community because it is needed. We need to save our nature. That will never go away. But I use my art to speak truth, to educate, and to also generate money and an income. So I chose the music because the music is a way through. You can become a professor and still die broke. Education is not the only thing that can open up a person's life and career. It could be the arts, it's the things that you love that you can thrive in. So I chose music, and the music chose me. Yeah, to answer your question. Yeah, someone has a microphone.
This is about your mental health. I would love to know, like, how do you manage, like, the challenges from the media, whereby nowadays, of course, every media, like, they want to create stories, they want to create why. Just how do you manage? Because it's really a lot.
How do I manage my mental health? Was that the question? Oh, that's a very beautiful question. What's your name again?
Shama.
Shama. Very beautiful question. How do I manage my mental health, right? We live in the industry which throws so many pressures on a person who is creative. We just saw Sheila's dad calling everybody with dreadlocks Konyi. Right? Right? And first of all, when that is said and a parent who cares about their son, their daughter joining the music industry, it kills the value of what we provide to the industry. So just to educate, I'm going to come back to your question. But seeing a person with dreadlocks is actually how African hair grows. If a white man walked in here with a ponytail, right? And a nice suit, you wouldn't think anything about it. You just say, oh, he's a white man with a ponytail, with long hair. But if a black man with naturally growing hair like mine walks in here in a suit, they'll look for, but why is his hair like that? And I'll give you a cultural context. Our country was colonized. And when our country was colonized, our great-grandfathers had afros, very big afros. They had dreadlocks. They used to sit with their wives, and their wives used to plait their hair into cornrows. But when the white people colonized us, they wanted to destroy the systems that make you unified. So an African man bonding with his wife and his children as they're plaiting their hair is not a good thing to a colonizer, because that means that their family unity is strong. So they took African men and shaved off their hair. And they told them that in order for them to join institutions of power, they would have to shave their hair to a certain level. They made them wear shorts. Africans did not have razors, so our hair grew naturally, like Samson. But right now, because everybody's mind has been colonized and we're still dealing with the aftershock of colonialism, we still have people looking at African hair as a threat. They call them dreadlocks. The word dread, but they're just locks. They're just natural hair locks. And I meet doctors in America who have dreadlocks. I meet lawyers who have dreadlocks because they have tried to free their minds from the mentality, the enslaved mentality that dreadlocks and whatever hairstyle you choose has anything to do with the content of your character. So we are trying to educate a whole generation of kids who were born in the 60s, that you can have hair and actually be a responsible human being. But it's going to take time to wash away the mental slavery. To answer your question, how do I keep mentally sober? Take care of my mental health. I meditate. I take time to sit alone quietly every morning for about 15 minutes, and I meditate. That helps me organize my mind, my thoughts, and it reminds me of my purpose and what I'm doing here. So everything else becomes background noise. That's background noise according to where I want to go. People always talk about focus. How do you maintain focus in a world which has so much noise? You need to sit with yourself quietly and organize your thoughts. Learn how to breathe. This is an ancient way of dealing with pressure and anxiety, by the way. It comes from Eastern Asia. Aba Buddha, Bagundi, Babikola. But even here in Africa, people used to go to the trees, you see nature, sit alone quietly. But right now we have so much noise of TV, social media is giving you notifications. You no longer have time for yourself. So mentally, you begin feeding yourself negative loops and there are thoughts that are not completed. So for me, for my mental health, I sit alone quietly, meditate. I speak to a therapist every Thursday for about an hour. And I speak with uncles, aunties about problems that I'm going through. And I speak with my homies over a drink. You get me? And that helps you put things in perspective. That's how I have managed. Thank you for the question. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I would like to ask how you can attain confidence to speak to a great number of people about some social aspects in life.
How do I gain confidence? Is that the question?
I'm like, how you attain confidence
Yes.
to speak to people, for example, like us, and a great number of people outside about different social challenges.
About different social challenges. Great question. What's your name?
Isaac.
Isaac. Nice to meet you, Isaac. That's an amazing question. So how do I gain confidence to speak about these social things? I think for us to, in order for anyone to cultivate confidence, we as rappers are masters of that. If you ever want to know how confident you are, just choose a career and become a rapper. Oh my God. If you're to ask a rapper, who's the best rapper in the world? He'll say, me. Even if Jay-Z is seated in the corner, he does not care. You ask him, how many albums do you have? He's like, it's me. They haven't had me yet, but it's me. Me. So I think self-confidence is a thing which is cultivated. It's about speaking positive affirmations to yourself every morning. Who watched the movie 8 Mile by Eminem? You watched it? You watched it? You also watched it, right? So in the movie 8 Mile, Eminem, when he's practicing, what is he doing? Abalaba movie, where was he practicing from?
When, like, how to rap? He lived in a trailer with his mom. So, like, he used to hang around with his homies, like, you know, they call it underground, underground rappers, underground music scene. So, like, they used to go for the rap battles and all that, like, but they used to boo him because he was white and all that. But, like, he proved them wrong. So it was basically underground music at first. Like, he was broke, living in a trailer. Yeah.
So he has just given us what the plot of the movie is about. It was a white rapper in a group of, like, so many talented black people, and he was always bullied about his color. He was always bullied about his height. Somebody also slept with his girlfriend. So everything was just piling moments of him not to have confidence in himself. Ochiraba. The same way the society will tell you, you're from a different tribe. Or you walk funny. All of those things chip away at your self-confidence. But what I was trying to drive to in the movie is that whenever Eminem wanted to cultivate confidence in himself and to gain skills, he faced the mirror. And he practiced every morning in a mirror. He practiced all his brilliant flows in a mirror. There's something about facing a mirror where you're seeing yourself, the true version of yourself without lying to yourself, that cultivates a lot of confidence. So if you're going to be giving a speech, look yourself and go to the mirror, practice your speech. The way you look at yourself, those positive affirmations, the mirror will not lie to you. That's one way to can cultivate confidence. Another way to cultivate confidence is to study the subject that you're going to be talking about. So for example, he's saying, how do you gain the confidence to talk about all these social aspects of life? It is because I've lived in the ghetto, I've lived in the city, I've had the opportunity to also see my community when I'm removed from it. When you're no longer living in Uganda, but you're seeing it from afar. I've lived in a village, I've lived everywhere. So when you talk about the subjects of social dynamics, I'm a prime example of all of that. Some people only live in AC, cars, and hotels, and that's it. Some other people only know the village. But other people take initiative to live where they are, study where they are, remove themselves from where they have been, so that they can observe the subject from afar. So to cultivate confidence, always face the mirror. Do not lie to yourself. Speak truth and educate yourself about what you're going to be talking about. And the best teacher is life. Live it. Yeah.
I prefer to stand because it's a sign of respect.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Thank you, I'm being respected.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me first admit this, GNL, I'm a great fan of you.
Thank you, thank you.
As you always say, the pen is mightier than the sword.
Yes.
I've also seen it.
Yes.
But GNL, I'm going to be a little bit personal.
Yeah.
I was young, I used to listen to your lyrics, and one of the most heart-touching thing that I saw was in Red Pepper. And I felt so small, and these Red Pepper guys, they say GNL was fighting with a girlfriend, something like that. And
Fighting? Okay, yes, go on.
if you recall,
Yeah.
And another thing is, how do you manage consistency abroad? Because you say in your lyrics, and also here, it means you, apart from Babaluko or something like, because we hear rumors, GNL, Babaluko, Yamyambake, what and what, so many rumors. But
say that again? GNL what?
Babaluko, Yamyambako, Ebweru.
Oh, okay, okay.
Because there was that long time
it's funny,
when...
It's interesting, yeah? The things that I'm learning about myself today. Yeah, please go on, please go on. Yeah.
Because we felt so small when you left for years, and we couldn't get any other rapper who was so educative, entertaining the way you are. And you were a Pan-African rapper. You might be number one Pan-African rapper. But
yeah, we can clap for that. We can clap for that. Obugalo. Yes.
But what's hurting some of our women in Uganda? They say, yeah, we know he's a Pan-African rapper, but he married a white woman. Yeah. So you're going to find a way, you're going to clarify that.
I'm in court right now. I'm in court.
And my last request is, before you leave, they will do an instrumental. I want to battle with you. Guys, I'm not saying that I'm so that good in rapping, but I want to battle my idol.
Yes.
It's GNL.
Yes.
And
okay. So
even
I've heard about 5 things so far. Okay, Masade
Issa Yusuf.
Yeah.
I'm a film director.
Yes.
And I'm also a writer, and I'm an actor. That's all I can say.
Yo, Matovu Samson?
Masade Isa Yusuf from Kawempe, and I'm a neighbor to your father.
Wow. Kawempoye? Kawempoye? Are they Kawempe Fava singer? Yeah. Nansana? Nansana. There's only one person saying Nansana. Nansana oye? Yeah. It's very interesting the things you learn about yourself from newspapers, right? Red Pepper, I give no credence to any stories that come out of Red Pepper. Red Pepper is just entertainment, gossip. It's the worst type of entertainment to me. I think to most artists and to most communities. Eringanga uncut kalakata. To me, it's like you just gossip, but there's no content there. What have you added on to the community? You're gossiping and adding just negativity, rumor, this, but where's the content that feeds the mind? I'm very concerned about that. So Red Pepper, Uncut Kalakata, and stories like that, some people find them entertaining, but they are not what our community needs to be fed on. I'm actually glad that some of them were discontinued, but it moved them to like a later time. Because I believe shows like this, they are what should be on Ugandan television. Do you know what the kids in China are doing? Ugandans are on TikTok pouring water on themselves, dancing every day, right? TikTok, China. This TikTok does not exist there. Yet they are the ones who invented TikTok. So, balese abagala okusiriwala basiriwale, but they are teaching their children mathematics, how to design, how to code, how to treat elderly people in their communities. But here, we're using our grandmothers to show them our nakedness, and it's a 15-minute clip. People find it funny. Someone uploads it, and it's up there. Ochiraba. Well, other people are learning to code. They're learning leadership. They're learning how to bank, how to manage finances, how to become Chinese leaders anywhere. They are learning extra languages. But for us, our minds are rotting. Rotting is not the right word, but degenerating because of the content that we are consuming. You are what you eat. You are what you eat. So our mind, our soul, what we feed it is what we eventually become as a community. African Americans have a problem where they're always shooting each other, right? They get angry, pull out a gun, and he wastes another person's life. But it is because for years they've been told not to value human life. Uganda might get there as well, right? Uganda might get there as well because you're not taught to value the things that matter, but you're taught to value the stuff ebitalimu essence, ebitalimu nsa. So that's to the Red Pepper story. I really have no credence to it. Now, the other question I was asked was, why did I marry a white woman? How dare I? How dare I marry a white woman? And my answer to that is, I think God chooses, right? I think for all of us, God chooses love. We don't choose who the heart chooses. So I wanted so many black African sisters, very attractive African sisters. But that's the person that God put into my life, and I'm glad that she came into my life. Our worldview as a couple and as the brand in Simbi is to create a better world for all of humanity. Not just me and her, but for the whole entire world. That when you go to America, we want to create a world that is ready to receive a person of our skin color. We want to create opportunities for our children that we are going to produce, African children, so that they're not dealing with the same problems of discrimination in other communities where they go to. We are creating music where we appreciate art and culture and the people. You cannot love a people unless you travel, unless you experience their food, unless you experience their music and get to know them. And since not all of us can travel, we want to bring programs like that where we have cross-cultural exchanges, right? Where a Jewish person could come to Uganda and you learn something about her or him. Where you can go to Mexico and see what you have in common with the Aztecs, what you have in common with the people of Oaxaca. So we have a very global worldview. I don't know if you've heard of the term global citizen. You've heard of global citizenry? Global citizenship means your mind is erased of borders, because borders are colonial. Bali bagala kufuna resources zaffe, so they began dividing up these countries like they were empires, you know, and they subjected the people to work for their empires and make themselves rich. So we are still dealing with the same thing that people even go on Twitter wars and say, Uganda versus Kenya, and it's just nasty, you know. But when will we ever see each other as Africans, where I don't care where you're from, but I look at you as a human being and what the content of your character is? This is the dream which Martin Luther King was painting. Where is the content of your character? Where it's the respect that we give each other and the world that we are trying to create. You'll find more people immigrating to Uganda. Like actually across your university, we have so many Eritreans in the area, right? And what I hear from most Ugandans is negativity. Sudanese and Eritreans, and there's always complaints. So I picture that if a day, God forbid, knock on wood, where Ugandans don't have to flee to go to other countries, where they will also begin pointing at them the same way they point at other people. So it is that kind of education that we need, of respect and seeing each other as on a human level, that Nsimbi is trying to create, that the world of Nsimbi is trying to design, because that's going to be the future. The future is going to be a unified East African region, a unified Africa with no borders, and it's also going to be finally a place where you can get to travel without all these restrictions. So it takes educating the mind, educating our leaders, and educating the spirit on what oneness means and unity, and finally achieving an equitable society. Did I answer all your questions? Consistency. Oh yeah, that's a very important question. So he asked about how do I maintain the consistency and how do I manage to transcend. I think we all need constant evolution. Constant evolution. Humans are designed to always evolve. Life is designed to always evolve. Look at a river. A river is always flowing, right? But look at a pond. What happens to a pond when it has no outlet and no inlet? What happens?
It dies. Even its living things, they all be static. They don't give life.
Yeah, something dies. So in order to maintain consistency, you must maintain a system of being replenished. And replenished means adding new energy to what you do. I get bored when everything starts sounding the same. There are songs on Ugandan radio where you can no longer tell whether it's musician A singing or it's musician J until they mention that it's, because everything is now sounding the same, right? And with some musicians, it's like they're singing the same song. Agenda mu studio, nebakuba oluyimba lumu nga lwa dakiika 3, agenda atemako just 3, 4. Everything is just sounding the same. So for me, I get bored by that. And I always challenge myself to do better. So I began doing English as a rapper. And then I figured out that I was going to do better if I represented my people in their local languages. Because abana bali bayimba mu luzungu nga batugamba, you guys are local. You get me? Abayimba mu Luganda muli local. Then we realized, okay, there is actually something we have to do to educate ourselves. And beginning to love our culture in its true essence. And the biggest honor you can ever give to your ancestors is by calling yourself by your ancestors' name and also speaking their language, or at least learning their language. That's the hugest honor. They say if you want to succeed, first study yourself. If you want to bring peace, first study yourself. If you ever want to create new solutions and innovate, study yourself. Yourself, you are not static. The way you were when you were 3 years old is not what you look like now. The hairstyle you had, the shoes you used to wear, it's not the same. The clothes you used to wear, you should always aim at constantly evolving. So begin in Kawempe, move to Ntinda, go to Muyenga, tour every district in Uganda, Jinja, Nakapiripit. How many of you have been to Chisoro? You been to Chisoro? How many of you have seen the gorillas? You've seen the gorillas? Amazing, right? Only 3 people have seen the gorillas in a country where, do you know Uganda? She even laughs. She knows where I'm going with this. How do you hope to promote a country? Right? How do you hope to love a country when you've never seen the River Nile, never seen gorillas, never seen giraffes? And people trek 10,000 miles to come and see the things which are in your backyard. So, in order to always maintain consistency is feed your mind. Feed your mind constantly with new information. Study. Study books, study newspaper articles. Go to YouTube. Instead of watching just music videos, I recommend you watch TED Talks. There are Google Talks as well. And if you can afford it, there are master classes where you can learn a new skill every day. So Jay-Z has this line where he says, "Put me anywhere on God's green earth and I'll triple my worth." That means Nebo Musula Mudongo. He will study the desert and master the desert and study the camel and study himself, and he will triple his worth in that situation. And it's the kind of confidence that we need to cultivate a better future. So for consistency and to always put out a new product and a better product, if you know yourself, no matter what situation they put you in, you'll always overcome, you'll always thrive, you'll always bring up something new, you'll always have something new to bring to the table. But if I only flow koi and chikankane, how am I going to do my collaboration with Jay-Z or Nas? If I keep myself only performing in Chukuba Mutwe, how am I going to be competing with people from South Africa or Nigeria? I need to take myself out of my comfort zone. So Babaluku has never given me a coin. He has never supported me. He lives in Canada. His parents actually were from Canada. I'm a boy from Kawempe who lives in Los Angeles and Muyenga. So when we meet with him, it's a matter of mutual respect. I respect what he does. He respects what I do. And if we can meet and talk eye to eye like brothers, we design better programs for young rappers like you so that you don't go through the same problems that we went through. So whenever we are talking, he's older than me, just like most rappers are older than me, but I'm richer. What we have in common is the love for community and the love for Uganda and the love for creatives. I said richer, but I also meant that I'm a better rapper. You get me? I told you about rappers and confidence. Yes. Because there's something about creativity, and this speaks to the consistency thing that you're talking about. There are people who only sing, right? Give them a microphone, they're going to sing. But why aren't people writing books? Because it is the same creative muscle that you used to sing that you can create a book with. So all of us are still watching Star Trek, we're watching Avatar, we're watching Black Panther, but all of us in this room, if we sat down, we could create a Black Panther version of our own. Some people write poetry, but with the same muscle you use to write poetry, you can also write a script. You can write a children's book. But in our community, I find that the innovation is always lacking because babagamba bagenda kufira ku stage kwokka. Okitegeera. And yet there's so many other areas that our people need. A person who designs flyers for artists to perform, why aren't they designing comic books? Why aren't there Ugandan comic books? I grew up on comic books. The Ekanyas, why haven't they evolved to give us video games? Where instead of looking at something from America, we are inventing something from home. But it's just because we are not taking time to study who we are. Right? How many people here play Omweso? You don't know what Omweso is? You play Omweso, right? Board game, right? Where was it invented? Yeah, it was invented here. Do you know there is a video game about Omweso? Thank you. So many people here don't know, have never even heard of it, but we have games here that could make more money than Angry Birds. Right? We could make more money than Angry Birds, more than Candy Crush, but because we're not studying ourselves and respecting our own inventions, somebody else comes from elsewhere and capitalizes on things that should be giving us our income. That's our money. That's our money. When you leave here, I want you to go Google a sneaker made from Lubugo, backcloth. There was a sneaker that was invented. I think it was Reebok or Puma. I could be mistaken. I want you to go Google. But for years, Africans have been told that the Lubugo is for Lubale only, right? But they're sneakers, ladies and gentlemen, designed out of backcloth. And we have plenty of that here. We even have the skills to process the Lubugo off the tree without killing off the tree even. We just harvest it and then make clothes and design something and invent. So in that consistency, in that creativity, I think I'm only expanding. And I'm encouraging all of you, the young leaders, to look at all these things and see the opportunities that we have in Africa. So in order to maintain our growth and bring in revenue and create entrepreneurial programs where we're going to have money in our communities, we need to first study ourselves and study our surroundings. And once we master both of those, if kutwala mu New York, you'll be the best creative agency go jokubera fresh ideas. Because they'll be wondering, where do you get these ideas from? For you only have to look at your grandmother, you get me, and create something new. Some of them have never seen their grandmothers, the Baba of Charida. Yeah, so that's for consistency, and that's for always keeping a sharp mind in being creative. Yeah. For the battle, by the way, you have to see the manager, Musasule. Yeah.
Thank you.
Question?
Mine is on you're a celebrity.
Yes.
And like you said, you're richer.
Yes.
How do you manage to stay down to earth? Because when I look
Who said I'm down to earth?
You look down to earth. Because I've seen some celebrities.
Yes.
And you can tell like they show like they're unreachable, they're untouchable,
Yes.
Something like that.
Oh, thank you for the question. What's the name?
I'm Rina.
Rina. What's your traditional name?
Namatov.
That's the one I'm interested in. So Namatov. Beautiful question. How do I manage to stay down to earth? So I'm going to tell you guys a story. There was a time I thought I was rich. Very, very rich. I had 1 million shillings. But in my mind, I was rich. It was the very first time I was paid 1 million shillings to rap. Mind you, I used to do this for free. Somebody asks for freestyle, I freestyle. Somebody asks for battle, I battle. But it got to a point where I was struggling to become a star, and Ngatebikola, things are refusing to work out. But I'm attending all shows, I'm trying to get my name up in the game. And no one was paying me, so I began walking to shows like not barefoot, I had my Timberlands. But my Timberlands were dusty, you get. But after a while of trying and trying and trying and trying, I became indispensable. that if they wanted someone to electrify a crowd, bro, you better bring the other Luga Flow guys that freestyle because your crowd is dead, you get me? So they began paying us 50,000. 50,000 to go perform. And to us, that was enough. All we needed was transi. And the time came where I was tired of that. I wanted to blow up. I wasn't blowing up. And they used to call me and say, we have 50,000 for you. And I say, keep it. I would just stay at home writing. And they kept on calling, and I'm like, we have 200,000 now. And I'm like, keep it. I don't see the end goal. Until one day, they called and said they had 1 million shillings for me to be a part of a show. And it was the Big Brother show. And when they paid me that money in cash, I'd never touched 1 million. Bro, when I went back to the ghetto, I was rich. I was so rich, I could house everybody. I even sat on top of the counter. Baba way. You get me? Baba way. The context I'm trying to bring up here is, what's 1 million shillings to a person who has 1 billion? There are people who have billions in Uganda, by the way, right? Now, take the richest person in Uganda and put him in a room with the richest people in the world. They broke me with 1 million. You get? That's context. You go to America and you really see what they call wealth. Not rich, I'm talking wealth. Where they tell you this person owns all the tomato sauce in the world. And you're like, how is that even possible? They're like, oh yeah, they own all the companies that manufacture that. Or they own all the technology that they use in the iPhone. Or they own a diamond mine. And these are people like you and me. So when it comes to context of wealth, some things just humble you, right? Some things just humble you and you begin placing value on not the money, but to begin placing value in other things that money can't buy. Money can't buy knowledge. It will buy you a few books, but it can't buy the knowledge. It can't buy the wisdom for you to use that knowledge. It can't buy you love. It can't buy you peace. So rich, actually, we misuse it and attach it to money. But rich means a fulfilled life. There are people who have money but do not have peace. Katasobola kweba kachiro. Nengo mwavu gamba, I wish I could just sleep. Nefuna yetondo lyotulo. Right? So it puts things into perspective. Being down to earth is something I struggle with every day, to be honest with you. Because I'm a rapper. I told you rappers, we are driven by ego. We are very, very ambitious people. But in order to have balance in life, in order to achieve your dreams and your goals, means sacrificing your ego for your purpose every day and choosing to do good and choosing to love your people and choosing to love your community. I think that's what I do every morning, is that I wake up and I choose community and I choose purpose. But it's a daily struggle to be down to earth. And I think everyone will tell you that if they are, it's a truthful thing. It's a truthful thing to say. Anyone who says otherwise, aunties and the humble, ntambulira ku mavivi. By the way, there's this thing we have in Uganda which is like a fake humility. It's not real, but people respect it because it's like a fake humility that everyone fakes it. And I usually see it and it annoys me. But I think besides being humble, right? I think the best thing to be is real. Few real people, there are many humble people, but few real people in the community. Real will tell you, that's being real. Humble will take all the abuse and the pain, and then when you go away, they will cause havoc. And our people are suffering because they are too humble, that all their resources are taken away, people steal money from them, but we are too humble, right? Instead of being real. That is not going to work. Treat me better. You get me? I think real is what we need more than humility. Because humility creates a culture of subjectivity where you're always placed under people, while real, you demand for your place on the table without hurting anybody's feelings. You're just asking for what's rightfully yours. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the question. Yeah. We have a few more questions. I have a meeting to go to. Yeah. You know, I hope we'll be invited. What? Two more questions.
2 more questions.
All right.
A girl and a boy.
A girl and, yeah, we should balance it out. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Simbi.
Mr. Simbi.
Yes.
Oh, did they
With
go ahead. What's your name?
I'm called Bennett Nwasasira.
Nwasasira.
Yes.
Are you from Chenjojo?
Not really. I'm from the. I love my place. It's called Rampara. I don't know if you know Rampara. Yes.
I think I performed in Rampara.
Yes, it's in the west.
It's in the west. Yes, I know. Yes.
Yes. Mine is just a compliment, you know. To add on his statement of consistency.
Yes.
I think there are artists who sing songs that run for a month, but there are artists who sing songs like Luca. You understand?
Yes.
So Luca is intergenerational, you know. Luca is a song that will speak for time.
Yes.
You understand? So I think that helps you with your consistency, because you don't need to be there for someone to really go in line with you. And thank you for always and teaching us, you know, because I'm into music, I'm an artist. So every person who is into music thinks they should first establish themselves, because they should first establish themselves to help other people. But look, you hit during the same time Big Trill hit and GN and Munji. You understand?
Yes.
The same time you were building up yourself is the same time BFE was helping other people.
Yes.
So I actually have a label, and I run it.
What's the name of your label?
Adroid.
Android.
It's Adroid.
Adroid.
Yeah, Adroid.
I like it. I like it. Yeah.
Living clever and skillful. So
nice.
that's a concept that you really invented. You are a hip hop artist, but I need you to know that because of the level of your lyrics, you have actually touched many souls. You have actually inspired. Now like me, when I was a little bit young, you know, but your lyrics actually, you know, inspired us, you know. So me, I'm not a hip hop artist, but this one side of my lyrical style is, you know, inspired by Zamba, you know, and the myth. I love the myth, and you know. So Zamba is someone who is, you know, showing the youth that you can, because BFE hasn't started now, you know. It's something for way back. I could speak a lot, but thank you for coming today.
I appreciate you. Yes.
And I have one last question, maybe.
Yes.
How many mics do you kill on a daily?
That's a very clever one. That's a very clever one. Let me have some water. How many mics do I rip on a daily? How many mics do I rip on a daily is a question that was originally asked by Lauryn Hill. Do you remember the Fugees? In the Fugees, she was like, how many mics do I rip on a daily? Now, as rappers, it means how many microphones zempambie or lunaku, how many of them, how many MCs' heads have I taken off? So it's a thing of confidence again. Lauryn Hill was a woman a rapper in a group of two very powerful men. One was a producer, one was a guitarist and songwriter. But this girl, to me, is the best female lyricist, if not one of the best lyricists hip-hop has ever seen. Because on no song did they do better than her. Whether it was singing, whether it was the delivery, whether it was questions like, how many mics do I rip on a daily? I love that. Thank you for the question and thank you for the compliments. I will take the time that's left to speak about Baboon Forest and the philosophy that governs the forest, like we call it. You're saying that I was just coming up, but I managed to sign other artists and add them to the label. It is because you don't need to have too much to actually create change. Like you in Kawempe, who is next to my father's place. You don't need to have much to create a difference. You don't really need to have millions to create a difference. Have you ever had a person who has parents to take something to every maybe Christmas, but they wait for Christmas to have $1 million so that they take it to them? Yet the parent, all the parent wants is, Nkubira Kasema and check on me, send me 1K, you know, things like that. Very simple things. So this philosophy that governs the forest is that we are an ecosystem. So picture Ichibira. Think about a forest. In a forest, you have trees of all species, right? And all those trees are interconnected. Their roots and their roots network is interconnected. It's an ecosystem that allows birds, butterflies, the water to seep through, the minerals. It's a very relaxing place as well. But one thing about our African traditions, which I will attach to the philosophy of the forest, is that bagambe mitie mito, jejigumize chibira. Think about how profound that is. It is the young trees that make the forest dense, thick, and rich. So that means that our communities fail when we fail the young trees. And our young trees fail when they ignore the shade of the older tree, right? So when we sat in our Wango, when we were beginning this discussion, the Northerners call it Wango, Luganda wamechita choto. Investigate what they call it in your tribe if it's not, if I haven't mentioned it. What do they call it in Rwampara? Like a traditional place where people meet in the evening, kuchoto. Hamungo? But there's a technical name that they give it. As we begin having these discussions, right, I encourage all of you to go back and learn your traditions. Not the stuff that you're going to read in textbooks. I mean the stuff that you ask your parents about. And if your parents don't know, ask your grandma. And if your grandma doesn't know, ask Babaluku, ask GNL. Ask somebody who actually knows. Because you can't create, I'll give you the last chance. You can't create unless you know your traditions. So, Muchibira, we believe that it is only through cooperation that you can actually grow a community. So, even with the little that you have, my tree can give shade to a seedling. It can share the knowledge, it can share the experience to save you time. So you don't have to suffer like I suffered. Instead, I'll teach you how to create a marketing plan for your record label. Instead, I'll show you where the money is. Instead, I'll teach you about your traditions so you don't ever have to think that you're poor as Africans. We are the richest people on earth. And until we discover that, we'll still be suffering. The day we realize that we are the richest nation on earth and that our wealth is in our wisdom and our community, we are winners. I'd like to thank everybody for inviting me. The philosophy of the forest is that the forest is forever, right? And that a candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. The room only gets brighter. That's our philosophy. We have merchandise, for some of those who have seen merchandise. We have a website which you can go visit. We're still reconstructing. And soon it will be a place where you can come learn about the creative industry and creative entrepreneurship. Thank you once again for having me. Reach a hand. The peer-to-peer educators, the University of East Africa for hosting this. I'd like to thank my team, Trees. See, Baboon Forest, Trees, eh? It's called Trees. Trees is on the videography. Gilles Collins, who does our entourage and branding. He also reads the news on the channel. And then we have Mr. Seguya, who is the COO, with us. So I'll give one last opportunity to someone who had raised their hand. Oh no. Sorry, Muchala Yajirina to Agambia balancing, right? Yeah.
So I want you to tell me your view of this. As we're growing up, we had neighbors and parents. So these people were like, I should say they were the first class kind of parents. So they had their son called Edwin, and he listened to your music. So one day the mom was like, stop, tochidam. You get. And the boy stopped, because he didn't want to do what? Disobey the parent as an African child. And so after some time, the mom herself brought a movie home. And the movie had you. It was something of court, I don't know why you quote something of that sort. And he went ahead and asked Mom, why this movie? It's a good one, what? And I was like, Goanga mwali. You get?
Yes.
So when he told that to the mom, you know, African moms, Saka kumanina, all those things.
Yes.
So he loved that, but he came and he told about it. So I just want, like, may have my own view, but you as you, what would you say about it? And the other thing, on the music side, I love music. Nigeria right now has evolved. It's everywhere.
Yes.
Niger music. And right now, whites are looking for the blacks to make collaborations.
Yes.
Which is a very big improvement for all Pan-Africanists.
Yes.
But when is Uganda going to reach that level that Nigeria is at?
Yes.
That they are looking right now for, let me say, the B2Cs, or they're looking for Shiba or something that sort.
Yeah.
So that we can evolve and be known as the Ugandan industry. They are going ahead to try to speak their English. You know, their English is...
Yes, pidgin English.
Exactly.
Yes.
But they are taking that step for the Nigerians.
Yes.
So what can Ugandans do to reach there? Those are my questions.
Oh, very beautiful. What's your name again?
I'm Nanziri Elizabeth.
Nanziri Elizabeth has a question. She's saying, why haven't we managed to be as competitive in the market as the Nigerians, right? Nigerians all over the world have reached something they call a critical mass. So critical mass is basically where you can find a Nigerian everywhere you go, right? And they have been in the music business for longer than we have been in the music business. One of the most popular icons of African music is a gentleman called Fela Kuti. Fela Kuti moved to the University, I think, of London. I don't know. It was somewhere in the UK. He was meant to study something totally different, but he switched to music. And so they have been playing live music in Nigeria for so long, and having genres such as high life for so long, and had training managers for so long, training producers for so long. That's generation to generation to generation to generation. While in Uganda, the musicians have always been looked at as kadongo kamu, jangu tunywamu bia tukusulireyo coins, right? So it's a difference of mentality, actually, that's failing us. And it's a difference of whether we have structures. So if you're looking for a person probably who heads acquisitions at Warner Brothers, most likely it's going to be a Kenyan or it's going to be a Nigerian. And if it's not Nigerian, it's going to be a Ghanaian. Because for them, working in the creative industry, they figured out a long time ago that it's very lucrative. Whereas in Uganda, you're just waking up to the fact that you can make $1 billion off music, that you can make money off film, that you can make money off TV. So most parents have always been discouraging their artists, their creative children, and cutting off that solution, actually, of employment and gaining revenue. So we need to learn to disobey our parents respectfully. Can't you them? We need to learn to disobey our parents respectfully. Respectfully. That means your parents today are projecting their fears on you, the same fears that their parents projected on them. But we live in a totally very different world. Rema is a millionaire. So you need to ask your parent, if you're telling me not to follow the music and not follow my craft and my creativity, and you're telling me that education is going to be the key, what is the salary of a teacher, right? And what is Rema's annual income? Mubitunuli respectfully. That's what you're respectively disagreeing. Secondly, the music industry needs musicians and artists, but what it needs the most are other professionals who do not create. I'm talking about lawyers. The music industry in Uganda is not poor because the musicians are not innovative. The music industry in Uganda is suffering because the promoters and the managers are not educated. They are not thinking beyond. Omuyimbi ayagala kuba international level, neba mugamba soka yimbe kumbaga e Kayunga. Embaga e Kayunga is a very glorious thing and they should do it, but the mindset that takes you to New York is different from the mindset that takes you to Kayunga. Right? Both of them make money, but which is more sustainable and which one feeds more people? In Kayunga, you need your driver, your DJ, and you. Right? To go to New York, you need a team of at least 60 people. Ngayegwe, Mrs. Elizabeth, right? What was the other name? Nanziri Elizabeth. If your name is going to be as big as Celine Dion's name in the lights, and that's the future you're chasing, that's 60 people working with you on your stadium show. That means you're employing 60 Ugandans. They are lawyers, they are tour managers, they are cloth designers. They are people making sure that your money is banked well. They are travel agents. Bulichimu, everything. Planning a tour is big. But our mindset is heaping all the blame on our artists and ignoring the fact that there is no school in Uganda teaching managers. And if the managers are taught as managers, they all want to work for MTN, they all want to work for UTL, ignoring the fact that you can work with a musician and make 100,000 on a show. How many MTN managers make that in 10 years? Ngazi savings is it? But our mindset, when you tell a person, oh, become so-and-so's manager, their ego kicks in. Like, man, they're managing a muyimbi. But Jay-Z's manager is a billionaire too. You get me? His partners are all reaping big. So when you're looking at the scale of the creative industry and where it can go, let us not look at the tip of the pyramid. Let's look at the base of the whole pyramid and what needs to feed it. So our artists want to go and be big in LA. But I can tell you that when I got to LA, there was no Ugandan manager, no Ugandan promoter, no Ugandan production company. So I've had to organize everything by myself. So that means a person like me has to start Baboon Forest, Los Angeles, so that when Fameka, when Shiba, and all of my other friends want to do shows, they have a place where I can book for them a hotel. Not somebody's couch to sleep on who is a Ugandan, because that's unprofessional. Tiwa Savage can never do that. And yet Tiwa Savage also used to rent in LA before she moved back to what? To Nigeria. So it's a matter of us building those structures and making sure that there is not just one GNL who is in London, who is in Los Angeles and Kampala, but to make sure that there is actually supported structures by either government or people willing to invest in the industry, to make sure that we can shoot our projects here, market them over there where there is more money to be made. You had a second question which I've forgotten. Oh, it was, what do you tell a kid who is being told to stop. I think I've answered it already. Learn to respectfully disagree with your parents. Learn to respectfully disagree with them. The more you read, the more you realize that what your parents know is limited to where you want to go and the new world that's coming. We've just been talking about a new form of AI which types a business proposal by just typing in a question. Have you guys heard about this? You've heard about ChatGPT? So nowadays to write a proposal, you just have to type in and the proposal comes to you. These things that we spend time on for years learning how to write, now you no longer have to do that. It's just like you have now a calculator that writes books, that writes proposals, business ideas, and puts them together for you within a minute. So your parent is going to tell you, maybe coding tebijja kola. And then you're going to learn that something like a video game, Fortnite, makes probably like $3 billion a year. Fortnite, people just playing video games. Somebody designed that. That's an artist who did the graphics. That's an artist who drew. The music that people are listening to while they're playing the game, that music has to be recorded by a producer and an artist. So we're talking about a whole industry of opportunity. And as I'm speaking to the leaders of today, I need you to go away with one thing. Believe in yourself. Believe in the future that we are creating and believe in your greatness. All of you need to believe in your greatness. If you're to go away with anything that I've said today, believe in your greatness, seek the knowledge, and always serve your community. Thank you for having me. My name is GNL Zamba, Mr. Content, Chapa Kubuli Continent, Owaba Boom Forest Entertainment. Thank you. Mwebale.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a way how we have to clap for our very great guests of today. So, before we give him the abako, we're going to clap for him, then he's going to come here, then we are going to take some selfies. And the phones that we only allow here are iPhones, Cat Android duo. But you can stand up, you can come and take a photo. He doesn't have a lot of time with us, and then we can move on. So lead us in a bako as we welcome him to come in for photography.
Yes, let's raise up the people coming for the photos. Mwena mwena. Hey. For the love of GNL. Banaye nabagala autograph ye wali. Okay, abako Kalavanda to the legend himself, GNL Zamba. I love this song, the Sesetula song.
So omuntu tuyinza obutasobola twegattewo nga bana bataano tutambule. Actually mu groups zaffe tugire mu groups zaffe. Katukole bwe tuti kati. Katukole bwe tuti tuyinza obudde tetubuyina. Kati njagala mu groups. Simba yesooka. Simba yoka. Simba muwedeyo. Tusembere mabega. Sembereke mabega katono. Chipmunks, we shake. Abamaliriza tuveyo. Wills tuveyo. Chipmunks. Transformers. The future? The future. What's the name of the group? The Nobles. Banobos. Abamaliriza tudde tutule. Tweyanziza nnyo. All right, ASAP. Abamaliriza tugende tutule. Eba ASAP. Okay, Bariteka. Bariteka. Abamaliriza tugende tutule tukyalina ebyokukola. Kale, tusoke tudde eno, tusoke tugende. Sauti yesembayo. Sauti media team. Barapa baffe baliwa. Isa tewetya. Isa jangu rapa. Buli rapper, buli muyimbi, buli artist, buli creative moment yeno. Abempere tujja bayita. Kali katufune ekisemba ffenna abali wano. Twegatteko kimu tugende. Buli ali wano feel free to join. All right. Thank you, GNL and the team. Tweyanziza nnyo. Barapa bachajja. Asule. Bate. Kale obudde bwebwo tweyanziza nnyo. Thank you very much. Kalombolombo kagenda baka kumacha. Bana obudde obusigale tugenda busasulira manager atugambye obudde bwe yatuwadde buweddeyo. Kale. Tewetya mukuu. Takikola bro. So guys, we have some goodies here, yeah? We have a jumper, we have capes, we have t-shirts, but they are for sale. Abainamu ku sente nga ojja wano mu office. We have jumpers, we have capes and t-shirts. Baboon Forest Entertainment. Okay, so the t-shirt is 50k, the cape is 65, then the jumper is 110. Nebino bintu si bya wano mubimanyi. Ebintu ebyalinnyo ennyonyi woba ojagala later tugenda kubawa ennamba. Jumper 110, cape 65, t-shirt 50k. Netusobola balagira gye mutusanga. Zonna tuzirina sizes.
Hey, yo, what's up? It's your boy GNL Zamba, and you're watching Sauti Plus TV. What's up? It's GNL Zamba from Baboon Forest, and you're watching the Peer Educators Academy.